Primed for another run at an SEC and national championship. Gus Malzahn arrives at Jordan-Hare Stadium, where he is undefeated as Auburn's head coach. The Aggies of Texas A&M bring their fresh-faced quarterback, Kyle Allen, for a major challenge on the Plains. Stadium awaits. The Aggies of Texas A&M. Twice under Kevin Sumlin, beating a top 5 team on the road. And the number 3 ranked Auburn Tigers. Defending SEC champions, the nation's top one-loss team. From Auburn, Alabama, this is the Home Depot SEC on CBS. Game 1 of our doubleheader in the SEC West, home of 3 of the top 5 ranked teams in all of college football. Mississippi State atop the SEC West, atop the nation's rankings. It's Auburn, Texas A&M, followed tonight by Alabama on the road at LSU. With Aaron Taylor, Jamie Erdahl, I'm Carter Blackburn. 4 games left in Auburn's season, and Aaron, they are not shying away from the big goals.
No, they're not, and for good reason. This team is starting to gel right at the right time. They're healthy, they're focused, but most importantly, they're confident. This Auburn team believes that they're a team of destiny, which is going to make them a very tough team to beat down the stretch.
Nick Marshall led him to an SEC title last year, having another solid season in 2014.
This offense runs through Nick Marshall. A year ago, we knew what he could do with his legs, and he's still up to those same old tricks. This offense has a lot of window dressing. It freezes players, but then it's the athleticism and the legs of Nick Marshall and open running ability in the open field that make him special. But where he's gotten better, Carter, is throwing the deep ball. The vertical threat that he now possesses is tremendous. He could have taken the check down there, but the coaches have told him, hey, if number 1 or number 18 has a chance, throw the football vertically. Auburn is a very balanced football team.
He's good. You know it. I know it. Bo knows it. Some last-minute encouragement from the 1985 Heisman Trophy winner before kickoff. Meanwhile, the Aggies of Texas A&M have turned to a true freshman 18-year-old quarterback to try and turn the season around.
Yeah, and it was a very different look for Texas A&M last week underneath Kyle Allen. Very conservative. I don't think that this game rests on his shoulders. I think it's the offensive line. I think up front, Texas A&M needs to be able to run the football and give Kyle Allen some time so that they can stretch the field vertically and open this offense up.
And what a way to get your first SEC start on the road against number 3 ranked Auburn. Now it's time to take you first on the field, presented by Microsoft Surface. Here's Jamie with Coach Sumlin.
Coach, Auburn averages 39 points per game. You have a true freshman under center in his first road SEC start. What do you need to see today from Kyle Allen?
Well, we got to have poise. We got to put it on the other 10 guys around him on offense, protect him, make plays for him. Defensively, we got to stop the run and eliminate the big play. 2
years ago, you beat a top 5 team when Alabama was ranked number 1. What do you take from a game like that and apply here today?
Well, unfortunately, we don't have a lot of those guys playing today. We got a bunch of young guys. Great atmosphere here today. This is why you play the game.
Coach, thanks. Good luck.
All right, thank you.
The Aggies won their only trip to Jordan-Hare Stadium in 2012, but last year Auburn returned the favor at Kyle Field, a win that kind of started Auburn's run in 2013. Took them all the way to the national championship game. It is a bit cloudy, but still a lovely November day. 61 degrees here at Auburn, Alabama. Jordan-Hare Stadium ready for kickoff between the Aggies and the Tigers. Won the coin toss and deferred, so A&M receives the opening kickoff. Speedy Noyle lets it bounce for a touchback. So the Aggies will get it at the 25. Let's take a look at our starting lineups presented by Chick-fil-A. And we don't have to wait too long to see the true freshman from Scottsdale, Arizona, the #1 rated passing quarterback in the class of 2013 out of Desert Mountain High School. This is his second start, but his first in an SEC game, first on the road.
My guess is early on we're going to see some pretty conservative play calling to kind of settle his nerves. That's a lot to expect for a true freshman, but again, it's going to be his supporting cast today that makes the difference.
Trey Williams joins him in the backfield. And it's Williams who takes the handoff and gets across the 30 on the first play from scrimmage. Jonathan Ford there on the stop. And for the Aggies of Texas A&M, one way or another, the ball is going to end up in the hands of another true freshman, Tremaine Speedy Noyle from New Orleans.
He is so strong and so impressive. Was a quarterback a year ago in high school, but he's really come on. They need #2 to be able to stretch that field vertically and make some plays.
Here's Allen's first pass, and it is a short completion to Trey Williams, who dances for a first down near the 36. Take a look at the Chick-fil-A starting lineup for the Auburn Tiger defense, one that is trying to shore things up, especially in the secondary.
They've certainly improved from a year ago, but you mentioned that secondary. The last 2 games, this defense has given up over 1,000 yards and 66 points. They could get hurt today against Texas A&M if they do that.
Allen's second pass, another short completion. This one goes to Ricky Seals-Jones, the redshirt freshman who was tackled by Joshua Holsey. Falls forward to near the 40.
What I'm noticing early on from a play calling standpoint is that Texas A&M is working the edges. They're working the perimeter. They wanted to be able to establish the run, but they also wanted to get this defense tired running sideline to sideline. So far, so good for the Aggies.
Allen play action on second down, completes over the middle. Malcolm Kennedy goes rolling inside the 20. Touchdown, Texas A&M. A 60-yard completion. Kyle Allen to Malcolm Kennedy. How about that from the true freshman? His first SEC touchdown pass goes for 60.
That's exactly what they need to happen. That's just a break in coverage, miscommunication once again. That's been the problem for them the last 2 games, and even after these 2 weeks, clearly they haven't gotten that fixed.
Malcolm Kennedy's 3rd touchdown reception of the year, and the 5th longest play of the year offensively for the Aggies. Josh Lambo's PAT makes it 7-0 Texas A&M. The Aggie coaching staff told us more than anything else, we need an early boost of confidence. And it comes on a 60-yard touchdown pass. Kyle Allen to Malcolm Kennedy. 7-0 Aggies. Around Aggieland, they like to greet you with a howdy. That's a heck of a howdy for Kyle Allen in SEC play. A 4-play, 75-yard touchdown drive, 60 of them on the touchdown pass to Malcolm Kennedy. The 3rd touchdown grab of Malcolm Kennedy's senior year. One of them was the overtime game winner versus Arkansas. Now when exploiting the weaknesses in the Auburn secondary for a 7-0 Texas A&M lead.
A week ago, Malcolm Kennedy had 1 catch for 4 yards. Very different look for Texas A&M a week ago. They're getting back to their roots, which is stretching the field vertically and making teams pay for it.
That was the win over Louisiana Monroe, obviously out of conference. Their first win overall since September 27, when they were the #6 team in the nation. 2-3 in SEC play. That one's out of bounds on the kickoff, so that takes away some of the momentum for the Aggies. Matt Moore's our referee. Let's go back to the touchdown in a moment. Auburn is ready to go. So 1st and 10, Tigers from the 50. Short field to begin the day for Nick Marshall and Auburn. The SEC's leading rusher, Cameron Artis-Payne, fumbles the football, and the Aggies recover. Floyd Raven gets the fumble recovery. A touchdown for the offense, 60 yards, and now a takeaway from the Aggie defense. It is Texas A&M football.
Cameron Artis-Payne is their best player, leads the conference in rushing, but he doesn't protect the football through the contact zone. He did have 2 hands on it, but this Texas A&M defense had struggled getting its hat on the football, jarring it free. Tough to see from that angle. He might have been down, Carter. They better look at this one again.
In fact, we are going to kick it upstairs to our replay official. James Allison, our replay official, will take a look at it.
Just a simple zone read with a give. Very, very close. Any part of Artis-Payne's body besides the palm of his hand or his foot rules him down. You see his bottom right here hit the ground. It's tough to see from that angle if that ball was moving. It almost looked simultaneous. They're going to have to take a good hard look at this one. This would be huge for this defense at Texas A&M, Carter. They've only had 7 takeaways all season. To win on the road, you got to run the football and play great defense. This would be huge for the Aggies.
Only 7 teams in the country have fewer takeaways than Texas A&M. We get a touchdown for the offense, and again, as Aaron pointed out, the rule book says when any part of the ball carrier's body except his hand or foot touches the ground, then the ball is declared dead. So if the backside for Artis-Payne hits the grass before the ball comes out, he is down. Doesn't have to be the knee.
It looked like the ball was moving from this look a little bit before his rear end touched the ground.
And it is Texas A&M football. They give him the fumble, ball moving, the fumble stands, and it is Aggie football.
If you're head coach Kevin Sumlin, you can't draw this up any better to start on the road. Texas A&M is a team that desperately needs a win. True freshman quarterback did his job. Defense did his job. Let's see how serious the Aggies are about responding.
Kyle Allen back on the field. This time Trey Carson in the backfield with him. Play fake on the edge again. Complete again. Josh Reynolds to near the 50. Flag down. Free safety Joshua Holsey makes the tackle. Last week, 13 penalties against Auburn. Gus Malzahn said it literally made him sick to his stomach, the penalties that Auburn committed, especially the personal fouls against Ole Miss. And here they are again, another 15-yarder.
We opened this show, Carter, talking about how this was a team of destiny, how they were focused, how they were healthy, how they believed. But so far early in this ball game, they've been anything but.
Almost picked on the edge. Jonathan Jones nearly jumped the route. Would have been his 6th INT, and he could have taken it all the way back.
Jonathan Jones is a ball hawk, and this is what happens when you get predictable throwing those high percentage throws out on the perimeter. It becomes predictable. They have to be able to run some double moves, some bubble screens and goes to be able to take it.
Slant caught. That's Reynolds. Touchdown, Texas A&M. This one goes for 36. Gig'em. A A pair of touchdown passes for Kyle Allen, and it is a 2-touchdown lead for the Aggies at Auburn.
I thought Kyle Allen had Ricky Seals-Jones backside, but this time he throws it up to Josh Reynolds on a perfectly placed back shoulder throw. And once again, that susceptible secondary of Auburn has the Tigers down, about to be 14-0 early in this first quarter.
Lambeau's second PAT. The number 3 team in the country, Auburn, trails 14-0 early. Kyle Allen's first SEC touchdown pass went for 60 yards to Malcolm Kennedy. And to follow that up, Kyle Allen again. This one 36 to Josh Reynolds. Like the fight song says, the dear old Texas Aggies, the boys who show the real old fight, and they brought it to the Plains. Thursday on CBS, our own Phil Simms guest stars on the new Elementary. Don't miss his amazing performance. Thursday, 10/9 Central, only CBS. Carter Blackburn, Aaron Taylor, Jamie Erdahl from Jordan-Hare Stadium, where the Auburn fans have been stunned by Kyle Allen's early success. 2 touchdown passes in the last 39 seconds. The only time Auburn touched the football, they fumbled it away. And it was Cameron Artis-Payne who coughed it up, giving it right back to Kyle Allen and the Aggie offense.
Talk about a way to settle the nerves of your true freshman quarterback. Being up 14-0 on the number 3 team in the country ought to do it.
But they wanted to keep him calm and confident. I would imagine he's both right now. Ricardo Lewis gets to near the 25. Let's go back to the second Kyle Allen touchdown.
Well, here's Ricky Seals-Jones right here. He's going to come and run, and that's going to bring the safety down, leaving a one-on-one situation up here, up at the top of the screen. Josh Reynolds, just working against Jonathan Ford, does a good job of coming back to the football. Kyle Allen taking advantage of this Auburn secondary, which has been torched the last couple weeks. That's the play. Those are the players. Supporting cast stepping up for the Aggies on the road.
Last time Auburn had it, it was at the 50. This time now at the 25. Marshall to Cameron Artis-Payne again. Give it right back to him after the fumble, and he gets 3. Our Chick-fil-A starting lineups for the Auburn Tigers. Nick Marshall, the quarterback from Pineview, Georgia. Via Garden City Community College, developing into one of college football's best. All the Tigers describe him as quiet and humble, but he backs it up on the field. On 2nd and 7, that is complete to the outside across the 35. Duke Williams near the 39, brought down by Raven and Burns.
What you'll see all game long is teams trying to load the box to stop the run. That creates one-on-one situations on the outside. But Cameron Artis-Payne, that running back from Auburn, will make you pay if you get those guys out to try and double cover the receivers.
There's Artis-Payne again for a couple more on 1st down. We look at the Aggie defense, which is young across the board. 10 freshmen on the defensive depth chart, 9 of them true freshmen, including Alaka at linebacker.
Alaka's one of the players that during the bye week started to step up and set the tone and tempo. This defense needs some leadership, and it's oddly enough, Alaka's providing some.
Marshall to the outside, complete to Quan Brace, slips away from the tackler. That's DeShazer Everett, the senior, who was Texas A&M's leading tackler. Ruptured ligament in his elbow last week versus Louisiana Monroe. Was a question mark, but he's out there for A&M. Couldn't make that stop.
No, DeShazer Everett, the senior, leads his team in tackles. He's a gamer. He's a winner. He's a physical presence. If there was any chance for him to be able to play, he said he would, which is why he's out there.
Marshall keeps it on 3rd down. Aggies stretch it out. Marshall finds the corner anyway and has an Auburn 1st down. This is last week, DeShazer Everett against Louisiana Monroe. And he's a cornerback who's the leading tackler on the team, leader of the defense. The ruptured ligament in his elbow on this play.
Yeah, and it was friendly fire. It was Ivan Robinson coming over there doing a good job of hustling, but DeShazer's elbow got caught up in there.
From midfield again. Marshall on play action. Pulls it with a block from Artis Payne. Marshall gets near the first down. Solid block from Cameron Artis Payne.
Credit the Texas A&M defensive backfield for having great coverage. There was nowhere for Nick Marshall to be able to throw this football. Everybody was locked up in coverage. There was nowhere to go. Marshall pulled the ball down, but showed you his athleticism, breaking contain and picking up 9 yards.
Second and short, hit Quan Bray. First down, Auburn. Tackled by Armani Watts. Our feature unit did a very nice piece on Quan Bray, and the tragic story is late mother Tanya, a source of inspiration for Quan. He will graduate this December, which was his mother's #1 wish for her son Quan Bray from LaGrange, Georgia.
Empty backfield, walks Marshall's legs here.
To Bray again. Hustling inside the 30-yard line. It's another Auburn first down.
Auburn's a team that will try to test your defense on the perimeter. They motion out Brandon Folse right at the snap of the ball, who gets out on that outside edge. Defensive coordinator Mark Schneider told us it's imperative that they tackle well today.
Reverse. This is Lewis. Inside the 20 with blockers ahead. Lewis slides down near the 11.
If Lewis doesn't lose his footing there, it's a for sure touchdown. Texas A&M wasn't prepared for that at all. They had nobody that was responding to that. They had blockers out front. But this red zone area, Carter, is where Auburn excels. They are among the best in the country at scoring touchdowns when they get inside the 20.
75% touchdown rate. Ask Gus Malzahn about it. He says, we want to run that darn football in.
And they do.
Direct from Coach Malzahn. Sure enough, Cameron Artis Payne inside the 10. You look at the Verizon red zone and those terrific numbers for Auburn. They're at 75% touchdown rate, well ahead of the national average of 61.
And it was lack of red zone production against Mississippi State that was the difference in that ball game. It's important against Texas A&M that can score points with the best of them, that they get touchdowns when they get down here, because field goals on a day like today might not be good enough to win this game.
Mississippi State, the only loss for Auburn. Rare substitution mix-up on the Auburn sideline. Now they have it set, including Corey Grant out there. Marshall will take it himself inside the 5, off the fake sweep. Marshall to the 4. Highest red zone touchdown percentages, Texas State, led by Dennis Franchione, the former Alabama and Texas A&M head coach. But both of these teams over 75%.
75% is your ideal touchdown ratio when you get down there. Both of these teams do that. These drives are so important to the outcome.
Marshall on the 12th play is stood up and driven back by Justin Bass and Sean Washington.
Some good defensive line play up front that time, getting penetration on this Auburn offensive line, which has been pretty good. But you should see a wall of white jerseys there. Mark Schneider's defense responded, but it looks like Kevin Sumlin wants to talk about it.
Marshall gets enough for the first down. Timeout, Texas A&M. The number 3 ranked Auburn Tigers trying to erase the 0.
14-0 Texas A&M. Auburn in the red zone, but keep your eye right here on Justin Bass, number 43. Auburn among the best teams in the country in the red zone, but Bass shedding his blocker, and good pursuit and flying to the football by Texas A&M comes up with a huge stop down here in the red zone. Kevin Sumlin took a timeout. He wanted to talk about it. He knows how important this stop is. You're up 14-0. If you could somehow keep Auburn to a field goal, that would be a huge boost to your confidence and also protect that 14-point lead that you have a little bit.
Nick Marshall on this drive, 4 for 4 passing. He has 19 yards rushing. 49 yards for Marshall on this 73-play drive. It is 1st and goal, Auburn.
To the left of your screen, you'll see number 1, Duke Williams. Looks to be in man coverage up here at the top. Keep your eye on him.
Marshall hands off, touchdown Auburn. Cameron Artis-Payne, the fumble on the opening Auburn possession into the end zone for the Tigers to cut the Aggie lead in half.
No surprise that down here that you lean on your big offensive lineman. My goodness, Sean Coleman and Devontae Danzy. Unbelievable job, that left tackle and left guard, of getting movement on the down lineman, making Artis-Payne's touchdown a walk in the park.
Daniel Carlson's PAT makes it 14-7. Cameron Artis-Payne, the SEC's surprising leading rusher, into the end zone. Tomorrow, the NFL on CBS. Regional action begins 1 Eastern. Miami, Detroit, the big win, 4:05 Eastern time. It's Denver at Oakland. How about former A&M wide receiver and quarterback Ryan Tannehill, leading the Miami Dolphins to 3 straight wins to try and break their playoff drought. He has been solid. All 3 of those wins in the last 3 games for Tannehill. 68%. Didn't play quarterback for the Aggies until his senior year. And then it was a guy named Johnny Manziel who took over. He was a redshirt freshman quarterback. Manziel was. Kyle Allen, the true freshman quarterback for Texas A&M, making his first SEC start. Already a pair of touchdown passes for the 18-year-old from Scottsdale, Arizona. But it's an Auburn touchdown that's cut the lead in half. Daniel Carlson's kickoff. Taken near the goal line by Speedy Noyle. Shaking his way across the 25. Noyle bumped forward to near the 33. So here's Allen and the Aggies again, the true freshman. Desert Mountain High School, Scottsdale, Arizona. Over 8,200 yards. Why he was the #1 rated passing quarterback in the class of 2013. Graduated early from high school so he could enroll in spring drills. Desert Mountain High School to the Aggies of Texas A&M.
Well, there's no questioning this young man's arm strength. He's got a plus arm. He's very physically gifted. He'll have to learn the game, but so far in this first quarter, he's been outstanding.
Handing off. This is Carson, drilled at the 45 by Jermaine Whitehead. Welcome back to the Auburn secondary. So here's Kyle Allen. There's over 8,200 yards. You can see why everybody in the country wanted him, including the SECs, including Notre Dame, Arizona State. But he chose Texas A&M, part of a couple of huge recruiting classes. And Kevin Sumlin and his staff have pulled in. Allen hands off to Brandon Williams for just a yard. Chance for us to check in with Adam Zucker, New York. A Ford update.
All right, Carter, a Ford update for you. And for Aaron, first play after an Everett Golson fumble in the red zone. Watch this catch by Jalen. Very Gronk. Taylor Kelly and the Sun Devils lead the Irish 10-3. Back to you.
We'll get Aaron's reaction in a moment. Brandon Williams is popped as he gets to the 44. Casanova McKenzie.
Casanova McKenzie, the second leading tackler on this team. He's a great leader. He just flows to the football. The Aggies wanted to be able to get to the edge, but when you can scrape downhill like that and make tackles, it brings up a 3rd and long scenario. Auburn does a good job of getting after the quarterback. Remember, a lot of offensive line changes for the Aggies. This is a big down.
Allen slips away from the pressure. Gets back to the line of scrimmage, and that's about it. So he avoids the sack. McKenzie again on the stop. Back-to-back tackles for the junior middle linebacker. Aggies forced to punt.
A week ago against Ole Miss, this Auburn defense had 4 sacks. This Texas A&M offensive line, a lot of changes. Their right tackle and best player, Jermaine Ifedi, went down last week, and because of that, 4 separate players are playing in new positions. Pass protection going to be paramount today for the Aggies.
Kaiser's punt to the always dangerous Quan Bray. Stands at the 10, lets it bounce and roll into the end zone for a touchback. Auburn will get it at the 20.
The punt travels 54 yards.
The CBS Sports app now has the fastest scores. Download it today and be the first to get updates and scores from Texas A&M, Auburn, or your team right on your phone. Your team like Notre Dame.
Turnovers, particularly in the red zone, have been problematic for Everett Golson. That's the one chink in his armor, the one thing that he doesn't do a very good job of, and that's just not acceptable on the road against a good football team.
Carter Blackburn, Aaron Taylor, Jamie Erdahl. First and 10 Auburn from the 20. Handoff goes to Ricardo Lewis. Shakes his way to the 45. A 25-yard pickup.
Perimeter blocking is what allows big plays to go. Ricardo Lewis had a huge game against South Carolina. He had 3 rushes for 102 yards. He is a dangerous weapon, one of many for Auburn.
Artis Payne. Well, it takes the hit and goes to the 44. Cameron Artis Payne.
Carter, let's talk about this blocking. Let's take a look at it. You see on the outside, that's Sammy Coates, who's finally getting healthy, working his tail off for his partner, Ricardo Lewis. Gus Malzahn told us that he needed this team to go to the next level, that it was about details, the little things. Number 18, Sammy Coates, just did a great little thing on the outside edge for the big game.
Thomas and Grant in the backfield. That's Grant in motion. Marshall hands off to Rock Thomas, the true freshman from Oxford, Alabama. Rolled ankle a week ago, but practiced all week. Mr. Football in the state of Alabama last year. First and 10 Auburn from the Texas A&M 45.
One thing I'm noticing early on is that Auburn hasn't really been hitting the gas pedal in terms of tempo. They get first downs. Usually they like to go quickly, but early on, maybe to settle the team down, they're going a little bit more slowly.
Marshall keeps it himself. Ridden out of bounds after a gain of maybe 3. Donovan Wilson, one of those 9 true freshmen playing on defense this week for Texas A&M, forces him out.
There's a lot of true freshmen. Josh Walker, Ataro Alaka, a ton of young players needing to contribute early for this Texas A&M defense. The growing pains early on are going to be tough, but as these guys get older and start to understand the game at this level, they're going to be good players.
Marshall in the backfield with Artis Payne, who takes it across the 40 near another first down. An unlikely path to SEC stardom for Cameron Artis Payne. Harrisburg, Pennsylvania High School to Milford Academy in upstate New York. He was home for 2 years with no offers, then junior college in California, backup last year, and now the SEC's leading rusher, and he has another first down for Auburn. Cameron Artis Payne.
The coaches told us that he's consistent. He shows up the same every day. Doesn't matter what happens off the field. Cameron Artis Payne shows up and is a professional at his craft. He's a little bit of an older player, which gives him some maturity, but he's a heck of an athlete. 6th straight year that Auburn has had a 1,000-yard rusher. Give it to him again. Artis Payne sheds the tackler into the end zone. Touchdown, Auburn. Bass missed the tackle. A 34-yard touchdown run for Artis Payne. And a 14-0 early lead for Texas A&M has disappeared with back-to-back touchdown runs from Artis Payne. Just some great perimeter blocking. Keep your eye on the right side of the screen. Some great cracks. Guys are getting out of their lanes, and when you do that and take poor angles like Justin Bass, 43, did there, Cameron Artis-Payne will make you pay for it quickly. That's what this offense does, Carter. They chip you away. They force you to play undisciplined, get out of your rush lanes, and they hurt you.
Daniel Carlson's PAT ties it at 14. So from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania to upstate New York to junior college in California to the Plains, Auburn, Alabama, and into the red zone. We're even at 14. With the help of Home Depot, let's see why the Auburn run game is so successful.
Well, Auburn does a lot of good things well. Keep your eye right here on Ataro Alaka. He's going to get himself cracked inside that time by Melvin Ray. This is just a simple power. And look at that rush lane there. 43 has to be able to close on that, but he misses the tackle. Justin Bass has to get on that inside hip and get Artis-Payne to the ground. But because of Artis-Payne's ability to be a great open field runner and to accelerate, the Tigers put another 7 up on the board.
Well, because they are running it so well, Auburn 12 straight rushes, including all 7 plays on that touchdown drive, ending with Cameron Artis-Payne's second touchdown run. Aggies felt great about a 14-0 lead. Now the number 3 ranked team, before the first quarter's even out, has evened it up.
That's what makes them such a dangerous team. They're so explosive. Texas A&M needs to be able to respond. They've got a pretty good return game. Special teams could be a factor today.
Williams decides to bring it out. Trey Williams finds a seam. There is a flag down. So Williams shaking his way to the 30, to the 40, diving to the 47. But this one likely coming back with a flag at the 11.
Yeah, it looked like it was a block in the back, Carter, and a week ago against Louisiana Monroe, Texas A&M only had 2 penalties. This one was costly because that was a beautiful return.
Number 16 of the receiving team, half the distance to goal, first down.
14 all here in Auburn, Alabama. We check in with Adam in New York.
All right, Carter, Irish turnovers again, leading to Arizona State touchdowns. Everett Golson intercepted by Marcus Hardison, led to a short rushing TD. 17 points in 90 seconds for the Sun Devils. Golson needs the kind of redemption Cameron Artis-Payne has delivered for Auburn.
You know, last week, Aaron, when you were calling the game with our buddy Andrew Catalon, you had to be nice and neutral about Notre Dame. Now I see a little tear in the corner of your eye that you can go back to being a fan.
Well, I tell you what, I said on Inside College Football this week that Todd Graham wasn't going to win any People's Choice Awards, but he should win potentially the Coach of the Year award because of what he's done with that defense.
On first down, Brandon Williams, nothing much. So here's the penalty on the kick return from Trey Williams, the block in the back.
And this is hard. This puts a lot of pressure on your blockers because you don't know which way the returner's going to go. But this is costly. When you're on the road, you can't afford to shoot yourself in the foot. Instead of having the ball midfield, the Aggies now are inside the 10-yard line.
Allen out of the shotgun. Play action over the middle, complete. Short of the first down. It's Malcolm Kennedy on the grab. Jermaine Whitehead, who was suspended prior to the Kansas State game in September for insubordination. He's played on special teams since for the Auburn Tigers, but this is his first action back in the defensive secondary. They need his help.
He started 29 games so far in his career. He's a very experienced player. To your point, they need somebody with experience back there to help with the communication.
It is first down, obviously, for Allen and the Aggies. Play fake again. Allen steps up, delivers to the sideline, and it is
out.
Incomplete. Looking a little bit like some of those plays to Mike Evans from the last couple of years for Texas A&M football. Incomplete, intended for Reynolds.
They're trying to beat Auburn at Auburn's games. A lot of time you'll see Nick Marshall throw what he's called 50-50 balls, which become basically jump balls. Either your guy gets it or it's incomplete, or you get the personal pass interference.
Allen, quick hitter this time to Josh Reynolds at the 30 for another Aggie first down. Chris Frost makes the stop.
Tell you what, Kyle Allen's been pretty impressive so far. You see his eyes right there. He's looking off the safety. Auburn's playing soft in their coverage, which is opening up the middle of the field on those quick slants.
Carson takes it. The junior from Texarkana, played a year at Oregon. Last year when these teams met in College Station, 45-41 Auburn win. Over 1,200 combined yards between the two. So the scoring here in the first may be just the beginning, especially if someone in the Aggies can keep it together. Incomplete. First big miss from Kyle Allen, intended for Malcolm Kennedy. McKenzie brought the pressure to make it 3rd and 8.
And that was one of the things that Kevin Sumlin talked to us about, is Kyle Allen having to sit in the pocket and trust his protection. There's no question that Ellis Johnson, the defensive coordinator for Auburn, on the road against a true freshman quarterback, is going to try to dial up the pressure. Because they didn't get any yards on 2nd down, this brings up a 3rd and long. The last time this happened, there was heavy pressure.
On 3rd and 8, complete to convert again. Reynolds makes the catch near midfield.
Well, I thought there was going to be pressure, but that time they only rushed 3. And you have to credit Josh Reynolds for getting inside position, just moving inside on Jonathan Mincy, who's a pretty good quarterback. He got that inside leverage, and Kyle Allen putting the ball on the money.
151 yards in the first quarter. A pair of touchdown passes for Kyle Allen. And at the end of the first quarter, 14 all. We'll return to Auburn after this message and a word from your local station. Auburn Tigers haven't lost at Jordan-Hare Stadium since the disastrous 2012 season. It's been 14 straight home wins, but the Aggies hanging tough early.
Yeah, we talked about this game before. We said it was going to go one of two ways. Either Auburn was going to come out focused and roll, or Texas A&M was going to come out focused and make it a ball game. The second quarter is where this Auburn offense explodes and scores most of its points. Because of that, it's imperative on this drive that Texas A&M gets something, some points up on the board offensively.
Kyle Allen in his first SEC start. 1st and 10 from the 50. Handing off. Shaking into Auburn territory. Trey Williams, who did not play last week in the Kevin Sumlin doghouse. Apparently he handled his business this week. Football's in his hands again.
Capturing the edge is exactly what you want to do. It's just a simple off-tackle play. And keep your eye on 19, Jeremy Tabuyo. Great block out there on the perimeter. Again, Texas A&M, they said they had to be able to get the run game going to stay balanced, because that's when their offense opens up, when Auburn has to defend the entire field. That was a great play call.
And the discussion with Matt Moore, our referee on the field, apparently about a clock issue. Well, if job number 1 for Texas A&M, especially offensively, was to get the confidence back, check that off the list. 14-0 start.
Please reset the game clock to 14 minutes and 52 seconds.
And here's why it's being reset.
Yeah, the clock stayed there, didn't start running on the snap of the ball. It's right down here. It's not moving at all. Good catch by the officials.
And then time did run off the clock after the play was over. So 14:52. Rolling now on the ready for play. Allen hands off again to Williams. Knocked out inside the 30.
Now,
Justin Garrett on the stop.
Sorry about that, partner. If you notice, Auburn has its second defensive line out there. A lot of the backups at times, they'll rotate their players in and out. Texas A&M told us they wanted, again, to get to the perimeter to try and tire those guys out. It may not make a difference early on, but you better bet in the fourth quarter that tired and fatigue will show up.
Auburn showing pressure, flags down. See if the Aggies jumped.
Offside. 90 defense. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
With contact, so the play's stopped. This is a decidedly downward trend for the Auburn defense.
Yeah, and it's not what you want to have if you want to go on a championship run. They're getting healthy on the offensive side of the ball. Sammy Coates is finally about at 100%. But in the last 2 games, they've given up over 1,000 yards and 66 points, and most of that has been through the air.
Defensive coordinator Ellis Johnson said flatly it has to stop. Don't get a stop on second down. That pass completed. Forward progress right at the sticks. Ricky Seals-Jones tackled by Jonathan Jones. Chains will move. First down, Aggies.
That's important. We talked about both of these teams being good, getting down in the red zone. Texas A&M is just outside of it. They've got some big receivers, and I think a height advantage on the outside edge in the perimeter. At some point, they've got to let Kyle Allen throw and see if they can take advantage of that mismatch.
Allen, play action over the middle. Seals-Jones again. End zone again. Touchdown, Texas A&M. The third touchdown pass of the first half from Kyle Allen. This one goes to Ricky Seals-Jones, 23 yards.
Well, here's Ricky Seals-Jones at the number 3 position. He gets in here and finds the hole inside the defense. You see Chris Frost there getting lost. Just a great job of Seals-Jones finding the hole in that zone defense, and Kyle Allen coming backside, putting the ball on the money.
And the holes in the Auburn secondary remain. Josh Lambo's PAT. Aggies back on top after Auburn ties it. Another TD drive, another TD pass for the 18-year-old Kyle Allen, and the Aggies lead in Auburn. In Hollywood, being first counts. Friday on CBS. Don't miss the first broadcast of the Hollywood Film Awards live. Queen Latifah hosts Friday, 8/7 Central. Only CBS. All your favorites will be there. One of our favorites, Jamie Erdahl, in a 21-14 game. Jamie?
Carter, Auburn defensive coordinator Ellis Johnson was adamant that the Tigers need to tighten up in pass coverage. Last week, they gave up 341 yards through the air to Ole Miss. Johnson said his defense is compiled of great kids. They work hard, they're high character, but they're missing that 4th or 5th year guy to really bring leadership to the secondary. Johnson said Jermaine Whitehead is the guy to bring back depth, to bring back maturity to this secondary.
So Whitehead suspended, but able to win to work his back on the team. How'd you think Auburn and the staff handled it?
I thought it was exceptional. I think one of the key missing ingredients in college football across the entire national landscape is lack of accountability. I applaud Gus Malzahn and this team for holding his kids accountable. And that puts your team at risk. Jermaine Whitehead's a good player. He's somebody with experience that can help that back end. But because of him trying to set a standard and holding Jermaine Whitehead accountable, I think not only will Whitehead benefit, but eventually this team will benefit because they know they have to do things the right way.
His first action in the defensive secondary since September. One of the leaders of this Auburn defense. Carter Blackburn, Aaron Taylor, Jamie Erdahl. Game 1 of our SEC West doubleheader with Alabama LSU tonight on CBS. Let's kick off taken by Bray. Brings it out of the end zone despite advice from his teammates, and he only gets to the 15. Kyle Allen, first SEC start, first road start, and he is lighting it up.
Well, he's already got more yards so far today than he had a week ago. And the coaches said, hey, we got to figure out what it is he's good at, what he likes, and then figure out what we like him doing. And that takes 2 or 3 weeks. We talked to Kevin Sumlin before the game. He said our main concern isn't what he can do, but calming him down. It's clear early on in this ball game, he's calm, he's cool, he's collected, and he's put 3 touchdowns up on the board.
He started running it last week, and Kevin Sumlin told Kyle Allen, we didn't bring you here to be Johnny Football. You're Kyle Allen. You're a pocket passer. We need you healthy.
He can spin that thing. Definitely has a plus arm. But his physical ability has outpaced his maturity in terms of understanding this offense. I think the upside for Kyle Allen is tremendous.
Kevin Sumlin has another question for the officiating crew, so referee Matt Moore.
The game clock has malfunctioned. We will keep it on the field.
So 13:18 is apparently the correct time, but for now, well, as Matt told you, being kept on the field. Nick Marshall and the Tigers from the 15. Complete to the edge for Duke Williams. Loose football, incomplete pass.
And Williams looks to be hurt.
Pass is ruled incomplete, no fumble, no touchdown. And now the Tigers will check on their leading receiver, junior Duke Williams.
This would be a huge blow for Auburn, Carter. Sammy Coates was just getting healthy. When we talked to defensive coordinator Mark Schneider for Texas A&M, he said he thought Duke Williams was the second best player in the SEC behind Amari Cooper. And you see great job. Ooh. Devontae Harris, number 1, came up and went low. And it looks like that right knee got inverted a little bit.
Williams' first year as an Auburn Tiger after 2 years at Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College, junior college All-American last year. Adding a dynamic receiver to the Auburn offense. So as Gus Malzahn and the Auburn training staff check on Duke Williams, we step away. A moment ago here at Jordan-Hare Stadium, Duke Williams limping off the field with the help of the Auburn training staff, the leading receiver for Auburn. So a week ago at the end of Auburn-Ole Miss, we saw Laquan Treadwell go down with a gruesome injury, a game that Auburn eventually wins because of the fumble on that play at the goal line. Now it's Duke Williams who is exiting this game against Texas A&M with an obvious leg injury.
And again, the combination of Duke Williams and Sammy Coates is a nightmare for defensive coordinators to have to try to defend. They've certainly got a ton of talent, but this Auburn team felt like it was a team of destiny. They need the other players to be able to step up and continue to make plays.
Marshall hands off to Rock Thomas around the edge near a first down. How much do you buy into the team of destiny, the confidence that finding a way to win starts to breed?
100%. As a player, my freshman year at Notre Dame, we beat Michigan at home at night. And the speech that Lou Holtz gave us was, men, if you believe in yourselves, if you believe in what you're capable of and play to your level, you will never lose a game in this stadium or anyone you play. And because of that, I stepped on the field never thinking that we were going to lose or that we couldn't win a ball game, and we won several because of our internal belief. We didn't know who was going to make a play, but we knew that somebody would step up and do it. That's what this Auburn team does, and that makes them very scary.
All the way to the SEC championship and the national championship game last year. The game clock is malfunctioning, which is why you don't see it on your screen right now. So the clock is being kept on the field right now. We're under 13 minutes to go in the second quarter. Again, the game clock here at Jordan-Hare Stadium is out. Referee Matt Moore and his crew are keeping it on the field. We will keep you updated until that gets fixed. Ricardo Lewis around the edge. Out of bounds. A chance for us to check with Adam in New York.
All right, Carter, tell Aaron the Irish need one of those speeches right now, because after Arizona State had added a pick 6, the Sun Devils offense wants in. Taylor Kelly to Cameron Smith. It's 31-3 early second quarter in the desert. Back to you.
Yikes. Wow. That'd be Todd Graham, who was the head coach at Tulsa when Gus Malzahn was his offensive coordinator. Play fake, Marshall, deep shot. Downfield, incomplete. Overshooting Sammy Coates, the big play threat for the Tigers.
And you saw Marshall's reaction after he knew that he overthrew a touchdown. And talking with the coaches, I've asked him, sometimes it seems like he throws jump balls up to his receivers. This is why he overthrew his receivers early on in the season, so they wanted him to let the ball go up and let his guys make plays. But that was a huge missed opportunity from somebody who's been throwing the football a lot better.
Marshall started 4 for 4. He's missed his last 2. To bring up 3rd and long.
This is where A&M needs to be able to get pressure.
There's the pressure. Marshall escapes for now. Incomplete. Coates dropped it. Had a sure first down, and Sammy Coates couldn't hang on. 3 straight incompletions.
I thought that should have been a hold on the outside edge on true freshman Myles Garrett. Got dragged to the ground, but Sammy Coates dropping the football. Those aren't the ways that you want to be able to make plays. Remember, it was Texas A&M's receivers who had so many drops to hurt that offense. That's another very uncharacteristic error for a very potent Tiger offense.
Forcing the punt by Daniel Carlson.
Not the way you want to respond when you lose a player like Duke Williams, but not unexpected that there may be a little shell shock.
Noel Dangerous picks it up on the bounce, but manages to get out of bounds at the 36. Aggies and Kyle Allen by a touchdown.
Back inside Jordan-Hare Stadium, 11:49 left in the first half. A&M has a 21-14 lead over Auburn. Right now, Duke Williams, nothing official from the team, but their best wide receiver is sitting on a training table with a big bag of ice on his right knee. He has been evaluated. He has kept a towel over his face this entire time. Carter, he looks to be in a lot of pain.
And this is the play, Jamie, that Duke Williams was hurt on, the junior leading receiver for Auburn. Ruled an incompletion, but again, there's obviously the injury as Devontae Harris, the junior corner, goes low on Duke Williams. Aaron, you talked about it. I mean, this is an Auburn team that has faced so many different forms of adversity over the past 2 years on the field, and yet the miracle run in 2013, a wild win a week ago at Oxford to remain just 1 loss on the season, now down a touchdown at home. Duke Williams out of the game. Brandon Williams shaking his way across the 40.
And it's interesting. A week ago, it was a great receiver, Laquan Treadwell, wearing number 1, that went down. And today it was number 1, Duke Williams, another great receiver.
Brandon Williams shakes his way to near the 50. And now the official word from Auburn that Duke Williams is out of the game, exactly what Jamie told us was likely. So without Duke Williams, Auburn down by a touchdown, and the Aggies driving. Kyle Allen rolling, pressured. That is caught. Brandon Williams across the 50 to near the 45, but there's a flag all the way back in the backfield.
That could be on Gabe Wright.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer, number 50. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. Automatic first down.
They're going to call that on Bid Bradley, number 50, right there. I think it's a good call. Remember those foolish penalties a week ago. They had 13 for 145 yards. 4 of those were late hits or personal fouls. Those are inexcusable. Auburn starting to fall apart at the seams.
Clock is back working here. Under 11 to go in the second quarter. Brandon Williams right up the gut. Williams gashes his way to the 7. First and goal, Texas A&M. The Reezy finally makes the stop. 24-yard gain.
Jarvis Harrison and Garrett Grambling did an excellent job on that last play. That offensive line shuffled around, but got a hat on a hat and have Texas A&M knocking on the door once again.
Pressure up the middle. Allen, slant, caught, touchdown. TD pass number 4 for Kyle Allen. This one goes to Josh Reynolds.
We talked about that arm strength of Kyle Allen. It was perfectly and beautifully on display on that last one against man coverage. He had to put some mustard on that football to get it over there before the safety came. That window was small, but Kyle Allen fit it.
Lambeau's PAT puts the Aggies up by 2 touchdowns again. It was a 14-0 start behind Kyle Allen. And now it's 28-14. Brandon Williams sets them up first and goal. Allen to Josh Reynolds again. Aggies by 2 touchdowns against the Auburn Tigers, who haven't lost at home since 2012.
Adam Zucker in New York. Coming up on the Geico Halftime Report, Spencer, Brian, and I will get you caught up on all of today's action, including Hudson Mason with a career-high 4 touchdown passes as Georgia stays in the hunt in the SEC East. Now back to A&M Auburn.
Well, the Aggie coaches said that they had maybe dialed back a little bit last week for Kyle Allen, his first start against Louisiana Monroe. Not so much today. 4 touchdown passes in the first half. Allen did beat out Kenny Hill to start the Louisiana Monroe game. Then it was announced last Saturday Kenny Hill suspended for 2 games for the all-encompassing violation of team rules. After the hot start for Kenny Hill, not so good the last 3. So the question then for Kevin Sumlin, offensive coordinator Jake Spavital, and the Aggies is, what happens on Monday? And the answer that Kevin Sumlin gave us, we'll see on Monday.
Very non-committal, but I tell you what, his decision may have gotten a lot easier from what we've seen in this first half. But I think part of the problem with Kenny Hill is that he had too much success maybe too early. Maybe he got a little bit of the big head and thought it was going to be easy. Well, certainly we saw a week ago that Kyle Allen didn't find it so easy. But this is a team that needs not only somebody that can execute the offense and move the football, but somebody that's going to live up to the standard that Kevin Sumlin and this Aggie team expects.
Bertolet's kickoff taken by Lewis. He will take a knee. Tigers will take it at the 25. Our Aflac trivia question: who holds the record for the longest home winning streak in bowl subdivision or major college football history? Auburn has won 14 straight. They're 13-0 at home under Gus Malzahn, but who has the record for the longest such streak?
Can I get a hint?
No. No.
Come on, man.
No.
All right, jokes aside, there's nothing funny right now for Auburn. They have to get something going here offensively.
Corey Grant for a couple. We check with Adam in New York.
All right, Carter, #1 Mississippi State off to a good start against UT Martin. Dak Prescott, 3rd and 9. Well, why not just go for a touchdown run? It's 14-3 Bulldogs in their tune-up for Alabama next week. Back to you.
Yes, indeed. Mississippi State, the only team to defeat Auburn this year. Tigers #3 in the country, the top 1-loss team. They're getting a test, down by a pair of touchdowns at home against Texas A&M. Cameron Artis Payne back in the backfield with Nick Marshall. Artis Payne fumbled his first touch, or first drive rather, but he has the 2 touchdowns for the Tigers.
And speaking of Mississippi State, Texas A&M is following the recipe that Mississippi State used to a T. Offensively, they scored 28 points when they played Auburn. Well, that's what Texas A&M has done. We talked to defensive coordinator Mark Schneider before the game. He said, we're just going to try and replicate what the Mississippi State Bulldogs did, which means I'm going to rotate a bunch of defensive linemen so we can be fresh in the fourth quarter.
Artis Payne sheds a tackler, rolls across the 40, knocked out of bounds in Aggie territory. No flags for the late hit as Artis Payne was dancing down the sideline.
He was dancing down the sideline. You hear the boos from the crowd, but you see the missed tackle there by Myles Garrett. He's got that big cast on his left thumb that makes it hard for him to bring him down, but tackling.
Artis Payne again on first down. Nothing there. Dragged down by Josh Walker, the true freshman from Gilmer, Texas, and Mike linebacker. You know, you would think with all of the true freshmen out there for the Aggies, they'd turn the page to 2015, but these are a bunch of talented freshmen, obviously leading the way today at Auburn, 28-14. Fake the reverse. Marshall over the middle. Caught. First down inside the Aggie 35. Here comes a flag. Melvin Ray makes the grab, and now we check to see whether it's targeting on Howard Matthews.
That's what I think, Carter. I think this is going to be targeting, and that would be a huge blow to this defense.
Which means Matthews, if it is targeting, the senior safety would be ejected.
Personal foul, targeting, number 31, the defense, 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. That play is under further review. Number 31, by rule, is disqualified.
That appears to be a textbook case.
You see Matthews sinking back, but he almost looks like he led with his left shoulder there. And they met shoulder to shoulder. There might have been incidental contact with the helmet, but in my judgment at that first look, it didn't look like Matthews was headhunting per se.
Well, here's what the rule book says. Head or neck area of a defenseless opponent with the helmet, forearm, hand, fist, elbow, or shoulder. When in question, it is a foul. So even though the shoulder leads there for Matthews, that can be called targeting if he's going up high to the head or neck area to the clearly defenseless opponent, the receiver, Melvin Ray. Now, again, the review booth takes a look. They can overturn it, which would keep Howard Matthews. I mean, this is a senior strong safety, second leading tackler on the team. This is a big decision coming for Texas A&M.
To me, Carter, it looks like Matthews led with his shoulder and his forearm on the shoulder pad and the cap right there. It's hard to tell from that angle right there whether or not their helmets even touched.
Here's where the rule book, I think, can improve. Something that Rogers Redding and the national coordinator of officials and the rules committee maybe want to look at, because head or neck area is left undefined in the rule book. I mean, they just basically say anything up there on a defenseless opponent, that equals targeting. And again, when in question, it is a foul. That's the letter of the law.
And I'm a fan of the law. I think we do need to make the game safer, and the data showed that when they implemented this rule, the game did become safer. So I applaud that. There are ways to be able to make violent hits playing the game of football where you don't put the head area in jeopardy and have trauma. But to me, it doesn't even look like their helmets touch, and he's leading with his left shoulder and forearm.
So it's kicked upstairs. Call on the field is made, targeting, which means Howard Matthews not only 15-yard penalty but ejected from the game. Now it goes upstairs to James Allison, and if the targeting is taken away, you also take away the 15-yard penalty. That was the important change made from last year to this year. So you can't actually take away the 15-yard penalty as opposed to 2013.
And that was a change that they needed to make. I mean, the uproar was instantaneous, and they responded to it. But the downside of this, and we saw it in the NFL, the players were complaining about those lower extremity injuries. If you want us to lower the strike zone, we just saw Duke Williams leave the game when Devontae Harris came up and took a low shot. So it really is a kind of pick your poison scenario. But from what we know about head injuries and CTE and all the other things that go, I think it's a good rule that makes the game safer.
Here's the call.
After review, there was no targeting. Therefore, no foul. The ball will be returned to the 35-yard line, and number 35 is not disqualified.
Number 31, Howard Matthews, but bottom line, on review, the replay official, and this is his decision, James Allison. It's his decision only to take that targeting penalty away. So in his judgment, that was not a shoulder leading to the head or neck area.
I agree. I think they got it right, and I applaud them up in the replay booth for that decision.
So take away the penalty as well. 1st and 10, Auburn from the 35. Marshall pulls it, spins inside the A&M 30. Forward progress going to be stopped right around the 27.
I was wondering when we were going to see that. We haven't seen much of Marshall's legs. They've been trying to run to the perimeter and trying to feed the SEC's leading rusher in Cameron Artis-Payne. But when you're in a situation like this, you got to start with your bread and butter, and that's running the football.
Marshall hands off. Brock Thomas spinning to near the 20. 1st and 10, Auburn.
The left guard, Devontae Danzy, had an unbelievable block. Keep your eye on number 53 right here. Flat backing.
Thomas takes a huge hit. Flag down. Everett and Matthews combined. And now we check the flag.
Two fouls. Holding. Offense number 72. Personal foul. Face mask. Number 31. Those penalties will offset. Replay 1st down.
Face mask was on Howard Matthews again, who just had the targeting taken away. And then he commits the face mask.
Foolish penalties are what help you lose games. But how about the hold right there? Myles Garrett didn't drop to the ground. That's the second time we've seen that true freshman that I've seen have to hold him. He's a disruptive force, and I think Auburn is getting away with having to hold number 15.
Marshall hands off, hit in the backfield. Thomas can't get back to the line of scrimmage. Brought down by Alaka. That's the true freshman Will linebacker from Houston's Cypress Falls High School, making his 2nd straight start.
And they brought some pressure off the outside edge that time, and Mark Schneider dialing up some pressure blitzes. This is important. This is important for Texas A&M, not here on 2nd down, but because of the opportunity it gives them on 3rd down. You put Auburn behind the chains, it significantly increases your chances of getting off the field on 3rd down.
Fake the sweep. Marshall checked down, incomplete. That's an incomplete forward pass intended for Ricardo Lewis to make it 3rd and long from the 22.
And I thought he had Sammy Coates there backside wide open if he had put it on him right away. But here's a big 3rd down. Texas A&M had some success bringing some pressure. But remember, Auburn is a team that excels at making you pay for your mistakes.
Motion on the line, so we'll see if on 3rd and 11 Malzahn plays.
They're showing a 3-down line right now. They'll assuredly bring more than that. Maybe they drop 8 here.
Marshall pressured anyway. Gets outside the pocket. Heaves, caught. First down, Auburn. Marshall eludes the pressure and finds Uzama.
Myles Garrett is crushing the left tackle, Sean Coleman, in pass rush. The officials are missing some serious holds by that left tackle on the true freshman.
First and goal. Keep it on the ground. Artis Payne, maybe a yard.
A week ago, Myles Garrett had 3.5 sacks, and he's given Sean Coleman, the sophomore out of Memphis, all he can handle in pass protection.
Garrett's already passed Jadeveon Clowney's freshman SEC record for sacks. Only kept it since 2000, but you pass Jadeveon Clowney in anything, you say your name on TV.
Down here in the red zone, we've heard it before, they like to run the football. Watch Keith Marshall. Excuse me, Nick Marshall. Check that.
We'll keep an eye on Marshall. And Artis Payne takes it inside the 5. Third and goal, Auburn. Howard Matthews, who had the targeting call back, committed the face mask, makes the touchdown-saving tackle here.
And remember, early on in the first quarter, it was a great tackle by number 43, Justin Bass, that brought up another big third down. Auburn runs the football. Texas A&M has to be careful not to overcommit to the run and leave themselves susceptible on the outside. There's a busted coverage down low. Texas A&M having trouble lining up.
On third and goal, Marshall pumps, pressured, sacks back at the 15. Alonzo Williams gets to Marshall.
This is exactly what Texas A&M needed to do, is to be able to put pressure. Excellent job again by Myles Garrett, coming upfield, squaring his shoulders, and not letting Marshall break the pocket. He held contained. That's what allowed the sack to be able to take place. Good job by the true freshman on that series, forcing the field goal.
30-yard field goal attempt coming from Daniel Carson. His first attempt since October 11, the Mississippi State game. Carlson boots it through, but the Aggie defense keeps Auburn out of the end zone. And with 4:14 to go before the half, Kevin Sumlin's Aggies lead it 28-17. Marshall dropped. 3 on the board for Auburn, but the Aggies still a double-digit edge.
Aggies up by 11 in a game that's setting up a lot like that Mississippi State game did for Auburn. 28 first half points allowed by their defense, and the offense that's so good in the red zone, stalling out. That Aggie defense that has struggled all year basically to stop anybody had a huge hole down there in the red zone. We talked about Auburn being a team of destiny, but you have to wonder if this game is setting up exactly like the one they lost to Mississippi State.
Game 1 of our SEC West doubleheader. Number 3 ranked Auburn against Texas A&M, with LSU, Alabama still to come tonight. Carter Blackburn, Aaron Taylor, Jamie Erdahl from Jordan-Hare Stadium, where Auburn has won 14 straight. Aggies are enjoying their trip to the Plains, at least so far. Carlson, who had the field goal, kickoff to Speedy Noyle from the A in Auburn. Noyle brings it out. The freshman from New Orleans, ridden down near the 35. Mentioned the 14-game home winning streak for Auburn, which brings us to our Aflac trivia answer. Who holds the record for the longest home winning streak in football bowl subdivision history? Miami, with an amazing 58 straight. Jimmy Johnson, Vinny Testaverde, and the Canes, 1985 to 1994.
That started when I was in 8th grade and ended when I graduated from Notre Dame.
Won't say how many years it took, but Allen, another deep shot, dangerous pass. It is intercepted. Auburn football, and it's Jermaine Whitehead who picks it off.
We talked about this back end for Auburn. The defensive backs really struggling and benefiting from some great play and some leadership by Jermaine Whitehead. This is a greedy play by the true freshman Kyle Allen, and credit Jermaine Whitehead for going up and taking that football out of the hands of the intended receiver. Great body position. That is the exact play that Auburn needed to spark this team to get back in it.
Whitehead's first appearance at safety since September for Auburn. First takeaway from the Aggies today. Marshall keeps it on the fake on first down. Garrett is not faked. He rides down Nick Marshall back at the 40. That is Myles Garrett.
I've been so impressed with him, and I wonder if he might have gotten away with a little bit of a face mask there, but he's so athletic out in space. I'm telling you, he's been giving Sean Coleman all he can handle. He's got that brace on his left hand. No, that was a good wrap-up. He's basically playing with that cast on his left hand, but his grip didn't fail him on that last one.
Marshall hands off on first down. Artis Payne maybe a yard. Myles Garrett, the true freshman from Arlington, Texas. Dallas Morning News had a nice profile. It said Myles tries to emulate Deacon Jones.
So does that mean he's going to be doing some head slapping with that cast?
It's a pretty good one to emulate. Talk about guys who don't have an appreciation for the pass. If you're a freshman and you're thinking about playing like Deacon Jones, tip of the cap.
Big third down. Remember, keep your eye on the left-hand side. There's going to be pressure. They're showing pressure right here.
Picked up, giving Marshall a chance to go deep for Bray. Knocked away, flags down. Pass interference coming up.
That was the one thing the defensive coordinator Mark Schneider was worried about. He said on 3rd and 7 to 9, they'd throw it up.
Pass interference. Defense number 1. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
And he said the results are one of 3 things. They catch it, they punt it, or it's a pass interference call. That is exactly why Auburn threw that pass, and the Aggies took the bait.
15-yarder on Devontae Harris.
Gus Malzahn and this offense have excelled at running up tempo, but they're slowing this down because the team across from them, Texas A&M, has also shown a propensity to score quickly. You have to wonder if they're trying to work the clock a little bit here.
Artis Payne. Humble again, running on the right side behind Chad Slade. Over 1,000 yards already for Artis Payne. Went over that mark here in the first half. 6th straight year that Auburn Tigers have had a 1,000-yard rusher. Nick Marshall last year.
I've been impressed with the front 7 at Texas A&M today. They've been giving up some big plays, but they've also been holding tough on first down.
Marshall zips it to Quan Bray. Immediately stopped on the edge by DeShazer Everett.
Great job by DeShazer Everett, planting and driving and closing on Quan Bray there. For the most part, Texas A&M has tackled pretty well out on the perimeter.
3rd and short. Last time down for Auburn, they settled for a field goal. Marshall inside give to the 26. Move the chains, 1st and 10. Artis Payne dropped by Henderson this time. Winding to near the end of the half. Auburn capable of taking that minute 29 off.
And that's exactly what they're doing. Texas A&M has 2 timeouts at some point. If they get a good stop here, they got to think about stopping that clock.
Marshall over the middle, knocked away, intended for Coates. Everett there in coverage.
Great job that time by Everett, playing center field, closing on that football, timing it up perfectly, to be able to jar the ball free. Sazier Everett, leading tackler. They thought he might not play today. You see that big brace on his right elbow. Had that ruptured ligament a week ago. But he was all over that last one.
You rarely see Auburn go this slow. Minute 20, Marshall pulls it, pressured in the backfield, spinning away. Marshall dropped back at the 32. Everett leads the way on Nick Marshall. Another loss.
Keeping contained, just a great job of setting the edge so that the pursuit can show back up. Look at all those helmets. Mark Schneider, the defensive coordinator, has to be happy with the way that his team is flowing to the football.
Forcing 3rd and long. Aggie down on the field, checking to see. That's Obiaha, Julian Obiaha, the junior defensive end from New Orleans.
Obiaha's played well for these guys this year.
All right, you got it. You got it.
As the Aggie training staff tends to Obiaha, we step aside.
And welcome back where Texas A&M's up by 11 moments ago. Keep your eye on Obiaha right here coming in to be able to make the tackle. Was unable to get up after this play. A huge play by that defense, pursuing and running to the football. There was a lot of weight coming at him and just buckled him up backwards. We've seen a couple injuries and a couple guys slow to get up in this ball game. But with a minute left, with Texas A&M with 2 timeouts, Auburn definitely needs something positive to happen here at the end of the second quarter.
3rd and long. It'll be a 48-yard field goal from here.
Watch the screen.
It's Grant. There it is with the offensive line delayed blocking. Grant gets it back to the 23-yard line. So that's right around a 40-yard field goal from Daniel Carlson. Now,
this is real time. This is their Stonehenge package where the offensive linemen don't go. It freezes the defense, but because of the way A&M is running to the football, that time it wasn't effective. Another field goal in the red zone, Carter. This is the team that is among the best in the country, the Auburn Tigers are, and the Texas A&M defense held once again.
Auburn does receive the football to begin the second half. They won the toss and deferred, so Malzahn attempting the field goal here at the end of the half out of this timeout.
Timeout, Auburn. First timeout.
To try and cut into the Aggie lead. Try and get it back to single digits. 28-17. Aggies on the Tigers. 9 seconds left in the second quarter. Malzahn uses the timeout. And we will 28-17, 9 seconds left in the half. We stay here during the timeout prior to what we presume is a Daniel Carlson field goal attempt coming up. And again, it would be from right around 40 yards. Carlson has missed only 3 kicks this year. Coming up on the Geico Halftime Report, Adam Zucker, Spencer Tillman, Brian Jones get you caught up on all the scores and the highlights, all coming up on the Geico Halftime Report, including an update on Notre Dame, Arizona State, Mississippi State with a practice today. And then, of course, LSU, Alabama coming up tonight.
Yep.
Among the big games, including Ohio State, Michigan State, the big one of the Big Ten.
Now remember, Gus Malzahn is one of the best situational coaches in the country. I wouldn't put him past him to be able to try to run a fake here, but this field goal attempt here is off that untimely interception from Kyle Allen.
Officially 41 for Daniel Carlson.
Timeout. Texas A&M. Second timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
Now the Aggies use a timeout. Carlson didn't kick the last 2 weeks. You have to go back to the Mississippi State game for his last couple of attempts. He missed a 28-yarder versus Mississippi State. Gus Malzahn says confidence very high in Daniel Carlson, the freshman kicker from Colorado Springs. This is game one of the SEC West doubleheader. Game two tonight, Alabama, LSU. 8 o'clock Eastern, the Home Depot SEC on CBS. So LSU loses this game, they're out of the playoff contention. If Alabama loses this game, what does that mean?
It means chaos, and it means an extremely interesting finish to the end of this season.
41-yard field goal attempt coming from Daniel Carlson. Blocked! Scooped up by the Aggies. Texas A&M, DeShazer Everett will take it back. Touchdown, Texas A&M. A blocked field goal results in a 65-yard return from Everett. And what a way to end the first half for the Aggies.
This team, starting a year ago against Texas A&M, felt lucky, and once again, who is it? It's Myles Garrett, the true freshman, coming up making another huge play for the Aggies.
So often it has been wild plays going in Auburn's favor over the past 2 years. This time a blocked field goal by Myles Garrett at the end of the half. A 65-yard run back from DeShazer Everett. The PAT makes it 35-17. The Aggies, a huge road underdog at Jordan-Hare Stadium, where Auburn has won 14 straight. And yet it's Kyle Allen, the freshman quarterback, who leads a 35-17 charge at the break. We send it down to the sideline. Jamie Erdahl with Kevin Sumlin.
Coach, Kyle Allen has shocked this Auburn crowd. 4 touchdowns through the air. Are you shocked by his first half?
Well, you know, we want that last one back, the last play of the half. You know, that got us in a close situation. But, yeah, he's a lot more poised this week, a lot more relaxed, and I think his play shows that.
Anything, I mean, you got the momentum now off the other true freshman, but anything in the second half you want to talk about there?
Yeah, we got to, you know, just keep playing hard. You know, we can't let off the gas. It's a really, really good football team we're playing with a lot of pride here on the road. This crowd is going to get back into the game. We just got to keep playing and playing as hard as we're playing right now and execute.
All right, Coach, thanks.
All right, thanks.
The number 3 ranked team in the country, the Auburn Tigers, trail 35-17 at the break. We expected some shakeup in college football on this Saturday, November 8th. But did you expect it to come from Auburn, Alabama? There's a half to go, but it's 35-17 at the break. Texas A&M leading number 3 Auburn. Now to Adam Zucker in our New York studio.
FGL up in the SEC, riding shotgun, got my dog next to me. Come on. When the sun comes up, we party it down, we run that rock into uptown. Everybody in the crowd showing love, singing hey. That's what's up, man, that's what's up.
35-17, the surprising score here at Jordan-Hare Stadium. Aggies on the Auburn Tigers. Now let's go inside the headset, powered by AT&T, official sponsor of the SEC.
Coach, what'd you see in the blocked field goal?
Yeah, we didn't do a very good job protecting. They scooped and scored. Big momentum play right there, you know, right before half.
And you told us this week that your secondary can struggle in the pass coverage. What'd you tell that group in particular at the half?
Well, we struggled so far. I mean, we made a true freshman quarterback look pretty good. We got to make him uncomfortable. We got to mix things up. I feel good about our play in the second half.
All right, Coach, thanks.
Thank you.
Well, the Auburn fans appear to be a little bit uncomfortable right now, down 35-17. The number 3 ranked team, Carter Blackburn, Aaron Taylor. So what are those adjustments in the second half?
Well, I think we heard it right there from Gus Malzahn. I think that defense needs to be able to get after that true freshman quarterback, but they also have to do a good job of stopping the run. Texas A&M's averaged 6.8 yards per carry. They haven't run it much, but they've been able to run it enough to be able to stay balanced. We talked about whether or not Auburn was a team of destiny. Well, we're certainly going to find out this second half.
Auburn will receive the second half kickoff, taking it near the goal line. Quan Bray leveled at the 18-yard line. The Aggies come out hidden. So we take a look at the first half stats. Aaron, what stands out?
Well, I think when you take a look at the total yards, Texas A&M, an offense that had under 250 yards in the entire game last week, has once again found a way to be able to move the football on Auburn. Auburn with 182 rush yards has had some opportunities getting big plays, but they've been getting stopped a lot on first and second down. They've got to have some success here in the second half on the early downs to set them up on third down.
Nick Marshall and the Tigers without leading receiver Duke Williams, injured in the first half. Will not see him in the second half. Cameron Artis-Payne, the SEC's leading rusher, gets the first touch.
And I'm wondering in this second half if we're going to see more of Nick Marshall's legs. He didn't touch the football very much in that first half. He's certainly a potent weapon. And I think they have to establish that run to be able to set themselves up for play action. They haven't been able to throw off the run as successfully as they would have liked in this first half.
Artis-Payne maybe to the 24.
With Sean Washington going to have to come out of the game because his helmet came off for a play. Well, we talked about Nick Marshall and what it is he's able to do, but look at the numbers for Kyle Allen. Outstanding. He had that one interception. He got a little bit greedy throwing the football up for grabs. He did need to do that, but the defense came through in the special teams and returned that field goal for a touchdown right before the half.
3rd and 5. Nothing downfield for Marshall. Pressured again. Marshall pumps, slips away across the 30. He has a first down. So Marshall looking for the deep shot, and yet with those legs able to move the chains anyway.
And good positive play. I'm wondering why we're not seeing more tempo out of Auburn. After they get first downs, they hit the gas pedal. They have to get back to their identity, which is running at a lightning speed pace on offense.
Check with the sideline after they line up for 1st and 10 from the 30.
Man-to-man coverage down low. Good opportunities to throw against that and take deep shots.
Off play action. Marshall over the middle, nearly picked. Misses Yozama. There's a flag down.
It might be Sean Coleman, the left tackle, holding, going against Myles Garrett. Let's take a look.
Holding. 72 offense. 10-yard penalty. First down.
I told you guys about this in the first half. He's going to show up here out the left side of your screen. Good set. But look how he bends at his waist. He doesn't move his feet, and because of that, in the way that Myles Garrett dipped his shoulder, he got a huge penalty in the hold. They could almost call that every single play in the first half. Number 15 is a pretty good player.
Payne bobbles, makes the catch, dragged down immediately, and the Auburn offense is headed in reverse again. Obioha makes the stop. It was Julian Obioha who limped off the field towards the end of the first half. Back out there healthy, getting the tackle for loss for 2nd and long.
And I don't like the play calling. The identity of this Auburn offense is a physical downhill football team. Power, counter, zone, stretch, inside zone, zone read. Now they're having trouble with players running on late. It's the tight end, Brandon Folse. They've got to get back to their identity if they want to get back in this game.
And another penalty down on 2nd down. This is false start.
False start. Offense. Number 50. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
The Auburn offense looks more discombobulated to begin the second half than they did throughout the entire first half.
Couldn't agree more, and that's not the way that you want to respond. And here's where being a team of destiny could actually backfire. If people lay down and don't really step up to be able to make a play, everybody could be looking at everybody else waiting for them to make a play instead of focusing on their execution.
The first down marker is all the way at the 40-yard line. Marshall dropped, slips as he tries to find the edge right around the 5. Deshaun Hall puts the pressure, and he'll be credited with the sack.
Yeah, they brought an overload blitz from that right side. It forces him outside of the pocket. And just a great job by Deshaun Hall, the sophomore out of Lancaster, Texas, making sure. I mean, this is 3rd and forever.
First down all the way up at the 40.
Look at the deep safety all the way in the back. What's your play call here? You have nothing on your call sheet that can pick this first down up. You just want to give your punter some room to run.
Well, there's room to run in the middle to the 31 for Cameron Artis-Payne. Still well short of the first down. Floyd Raven makes the stop, but room for your punter.
This is what's so scary. Take a look at that. This was almost a prevent defense. That's just a power to that side, and it was wide open. I think Texas A&M probably going a little too conservative and almost paid for it, but they got Artis-Payne down on the ground, forcing the punt.
Justin Hutchinson will punt. He hits it right around the 20. Short punt. Noyle fumbles it, appears to get back on top. Muffs the kick, gets back on it at the 30. The score and the momentum all in Texas A&M's favor. A rare mistake from Nick Marshall and the Auburn offense, trailing by 18. At the end of the first half, Auburn had a chance to kick a field goal to make it an 8-point game, receiving the football to begin the second half, a chance to tie it, cut it to 1. Instead, it is still an 18-point game, 35-17 Texas A&M on Auburn.
That was a huge 10-point swing that could have a big outcome on this football game.
Carson takes it on first down for a gain of 9. Trey Carson. Now, the goal for Gus Malzahn said was to try and make Kyle Allen uncomfortable.
And think about it, this offensive line, because of Jermaine Ifedi going down, there's 4 different players playing a different position tonight, but they've been dominant up front.
Complete first down. Take another quick one. It's Ricky Seals-Jones to move the chains.
That play was successful because of the success that they had running the football on first down. If they can continue to do that, they're going to make it very hard on Auburn to be able to get in those blitz situations. I think this offensive line, I said it at the beginning of the game, they were going to be more important so far than Kyle Allen, but I think both of those guys have stepped up big time. But this game ain't over.
Carson takes it again on first down. Less running room this time, but Mike Matthews, the center, leading the way for Texas A&M. He's from the legendary Matthews football family. Dad Bruce, Pro Football Hall of Famer. Brother Kevin was a center for the Aggies. Luke, #1 pick of the Falcons. Mike's the one guy who stayed in place. He's like the drummer in Journey. Everybody else changes around him. Stays the same.
And he's an important player because he's the one that identifies the fronts and delineates who the Mike linebacker is.
Play fake, Allen pressured and sacked. There is the pressure that Auburn wanted to put on Allen. It's Angelo Blackson who gets home for his 3rd sack of the year.
Yeah, and they also brought Casanova McKenzie up inside that A-gap. You see him coming up inside. He's going to be able to take on #3, Trey Williams. I would go with a high percentage safe pass here, maybe a screen or bubble screen, something simple where you do not turn the football over. You know that Auburn is coming.
Draw. Williams shaking his way for a first down. Turning the corner. Williams sprints to near the 25. The draw on 3rd and long. Trey Williams busts loose.
And that was an excellent play call. That's the way you beat a blitz, but they didn't blitz. They only rushed 3. And watch Ricky Seals-Jones right here with a great block. That block downfield is going to prove to be tremendously important. I tell you what, this A&M offense is firing on all cylinders on all levels.
Williams sat the bench last week Back in the running back rotation, gets 28. Still out there with Allen. Takes it again. The junior from Spring, Texas, ridden down for a loss this time back at the 31.
And that time the Tigers showed press at the snap and then bailed. That was one of the things in the adjustments I thought that they needed to make, Carter, was that they were giving too much room to the Aggie receivers, and that's why they were able to get those free releases on those quick slants. So I think they just simply need to play more aggressive in rushing the passer and getting pressure, but also in jamming the receivers at the line of scrimmage to disrupt the timing.
Play fake. Allen zips it over the middle, knocked away, incomplete. Therese knocks it away. Devontae Lambert gets the pressure. Robinson Therese breaks it up.
Yeah, he plays that star position, and he's an active player for him. That ball was thrown a little bit behind Malcolm Kennedy. It was thrown right in the breadbasket, but it was just a little bit behind the intended receiver. Here's another third and long situation. Last time Auburn didn't bring pressure and gave up the big draw. My guess is they pin their ears back and come on this one.
Incomplete on the screen, intended for Brandon Williams.
The greatest attribute for Kyle Allen is his arm strength. But when you're hurrying under pressure on third and long in big games, your feet aren't always right. That's the second game in a row he's one-hopped a simple pass on a smoke route out to the flat. But I tell you what, in terms of being a good miss, that was a good one, and it brings up a field goal opportunity for the Aggies.
Bring out Josh Lambo for a long one. 50 yards is his long this season. His only miss, a 40-yarder versus Arkansas. This is 49, and it is no good. Both teams come up empty on the opening drives of the second half. Lambo's missed kick holds it at 35-17. Nick Marshall and the Tigers get the football next, trailing by 18 at home. The Home Depot SEC on CBS is sponsored by the Home Depot, Red Lobster, Wheels Up, and by Bud Light. The Heisman Trophy winners for Texas A&M and Auburn: Johnny Manziel, the most recent, Kerrville-Tybee High School, where the fight never dies. Bo Jackson, Cam Newton, the last two winners joining Pat Sullivan. And Bo Jackson is an active participant around Auburn Tiger football. This is on the field before the game, visiting with Nick Marshall, the 1985 Heisman Trophy Award winner. In fact, Coach said that before the team left the hotel last year for the national championship game, Bo said, "I want one last moment with the offense." Okay, Bo tells you that he wants to talk to the team. You say, all right, fine. In fact, he was walking on the field on Thursday. They could use some Bo Jackson advice or Bo over the top here in the second half, trailing by 18.
Run the football, Auburn.
They do. Cameron Artis Payne to near the 39. Chance for us to check with Jamie Erdahl.
Carter, the Texas A&M defense will be without starting D-tackle Ivan Robinson for the rest of the game. He is in street clothes on the sideline, but school officials unable to tell me the reason. It is injury-related.
Thank you, Jamie.
Talking with the coaches this week, Carter, they talked about Ivan Robinson and how important he was to that defensive front. They credited him and only a few other players that said, hey, without him, we could not have beaten Arkansas inside. Ivan Robinson, a big piece of the puzzle to stopping the run. That's going to make A&M's job much harder the second half against this Auburn team that leads the conference in rushing.
Measurement here. First down. Game one of a fun Saturday in the SEC West. Our doubleheader, Texas A&M at number 3 Auburn, and then Alabama LSU tonight on CBS. Carter Blackburn, Aaron Taylor, Jamie Erdahl from Jordan-Hare Stadium, where the Tigers undefeated under head coach Gus Malzahn. They will need to come back from 18 down against the Aggies. Artis Payne across midfield to the Aggie 48. There he's brought down by Everett and Devontae Harris, the 2 corners. Gain of 11.
Player down. Devontae Harris.
The reason the Auburn fans are booing, they feel that it's part of the strategy to stop the hurry-up offense for Auburn.
Well, that might have some merit if Auburn was running hurry-up, but tonight they just simply haven't.
You know, the Tigers like to say they have only one tempo, and that's fast. But this has been one of the more slower-paced Auburn games we've seen in the last 2 years since Gus Malzahn brought the hurry-up, no huddle back to the Plains.
And that shows you the respect that Auburn has for this Texas A&M offense, which at the moment is being led by a true freshman quarterback. They're basically playing keep away. They don't want to go up tempo because they don't want to give the ball back to Texas A&M, which has lit this defense up all night long.
Flag on 1st and 10. False start.
Full start. Offense. 18. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Foolish penalties. That's the 6th tonight for Auburn. 55 yards of penalties. A week ago, extremely problematic. This isn't the type of team that's getting ready for its championship run. You need to get better and work on the details. And right now, Auburn's letting the little things go, and it's costing them.
Marshall checks to the sideline. Play clock winding down, gets it in, gets it to Cameron Artis Payne again. Inside the Aggie 40. Henderson makes the stop.
They're running to the weak side of that offensive line and being able to find room by being patient and then busting to the outside as we're seeing here. But this time the Aggies defense responds. It's going to be very close to the first down and looks like he might have got it.
Move the chains to the Aggie 37. 1st and 10 Auburn.
Texas A&M up front. Another Aggie player down, has been playing pretty stiff.
There's 2 Aggies down. Henderson's one of them. Williams the other. So Ivan Robinson has already left the game. Alonzo Williams and Zakoven Henderson, other 2 critical performers in the middle. Williams back up on his feet. Henderson is down. With Auburn driving, trailing 35-17, we step aside. Network. It's the Bills versus the Dolphins with Ryan Tannehill. AFC East Thursday Night Football. 8 Eastern live on NFL Network. Dolphins seeking their first playoff since 2008. Bills haven't seen the playoffs in 14 years. Critical one in the AFC East Thursday night NFL Network. Carter Blackburn, Aaron Taylor, Jamie Erdahl from Jordan-Hare Stadium. Gus Malzahn has never lost as head coach here at this stadium. 14 straight wins, 13 of them under Gus Malzahn. You go back to Alabama A&M at the end of 2012, began the streak. A year that Auburn didn't win an SEC game. On the counter, Artis Payne breaks free, tripped up, dragged down inside the 5. Cameron Artis Payne is carrying the load for Auburn to begin the second half.
This is A&M trying to get to the perimeter. They're pulling offensive linemen to get out to the edge, and several missed tackles by the Aggies. And Auburn's knocking on the door trying to get back in this one.
9th carry of the second half already for Artis Payne. Rock Thomas near the 1.
This is the point in the game that if you're Auburn, you have to let your offensive line take over. Look for them to feed Thomas again, or for 14, Nick Marshall to keep it.
Marshall keeps it untouched. Touchdown, Auburn. Is it the beginning of another magical comeback for the Tigers?
They set this play up perfectly. There's nobody on that outside edge, just an overcommitment to stop the inside zone. Made it too easy for Nick Marshall to pull the football and walk into the end zone.
Carlson for the PAT. Cameron Artis-Payne leads him down the field. Nick Marshall finishes it off. 35-24, the new score. The number 3 ranked Tigers trying to come back.
It all began on a Thursday night in August. Texas A&M branded the Gamecocks, but times have changed. The Aggies, along with the Rebs and the LSU Tigers, have their fair share of losses, while Alabama and Auburn only have one apiece. And that leaves Mississippi State, well, they're sitting pretty. So you ask, who will win the West? Your guess is as good as mine.
One way or another, Saturday, November 8th will go a long way in determining how the West was won. Mississippi State still undefeated. Auburn at number 3, the nation's top-ranked one-loss team. And tonight, Alabama versus LSU in Baton Rouge. Game 1 of the SEC West doubleheader here on CBS, 35-24. Aggies still in the lead, but Auburn regained some momentum with a touchdown drive capped by Marshall. Cameron Artis-Payne leading the way. Already 10 touches in the second half, 202 rushing yards. That's a new career high for the senior from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
And remember, the mounting injuries on the defensive line for Texas A&M could definitely rear its ugly head as this game progresses. It's extremely important because of that Texas A&M responds. I'm interested to see how they are on the road with a true freshman quarterback. They face the first little adversity and momentum shift in this ball game. How do the Aggies respond?
Carlson touchback. Aggies will get it at the 25. Now we send you back to Adam in New York for the Heisman Watch presented by Nissan.
All right, Carter. Cameron Artis-Payne's got a lot of yardage on the ground. Melvin Gordon had 205 to put him over 1,500 on the season, plus this nifty leap at the end of a touchdown reception in Wisconsin's win over Purdue. Jameis Winston and Marcus Mariota looking to keep their teams in the national title hunt later tonight. Back to you.
Thank you, Adam. You can hear the Jordan-Hare Stadium is awake. Allen hands off to Brandon Williams, maybe a yard. Then Bradley leads the way.
If you're Auburn, that's exactly what you need to have happen on first down. Very minimal game brings up a 2nd and long. We heard them talk about wanting to bring pressure. 2nd and long is a great opportunity to do it, but watch out for the counter of a screen, draw, or delay from Texas A&M team who might be expecting pressure. They can bring Chris Frost up the slot.
Brandon Williams again. Nothing doing again. This time Casanova McKenzie makes the tackle. 3rd down.
You're Texas A&M. You can't afford to get conservative here. These are the types of play that Kyle Allen, the true freshman on the road, has to be able to make. That offensive line that's been mishmashed with a lot of new faces has to give the young man time.
Allen, deep shot. Knocked away at the last second, intended for Josh Reynolds. There is a flag down. Jonathan Ford and Jonathan Mincy in coverage.
Another foolish penalty by the Tigers.
Offside. Defense, number 97. 5-yard penalty. Remains third down.
Keep your eye on the center, Mike Matthews, right here, moving his head. He's got his head between his legs so he can see when it's a snap. He looks up, and that was just enough to be able to draw Auburn offsides.
Elijah Daniel called for the offsides to make it 3rd and 2.
Edge pressure.
Option. Carson. First down, Texas A&M. Ford makes the stop on Trey Carson.
Just a great play call that time by Texas A&M. They brought pressure off that right side. The end bites on the quarterback. There's nobody out there. And again, once again, Josh Reynolds out on the outside, providing a nice block for the pickup.
On 1st and 10, back to the air. Bobbled, caught. Ricky Seals-Jones near midfield.
That was a huge conversion on that last one, Carter, because of the way this crowd was getting into it. That first down conversion shut down this noise. Now Texas A&M needs to relax. They know they can run the football at times, but they cannot afford to make mistakes and give Auburn back the football.
14 for 20 now for Kyle Allen facing this environment. 18 years old, first SEC start. Shovel toss, that's Kennedy. Bottled up, slips free. Inside the Auburn 30, Malcolm Kennedy on the shovel pitch, takes it inside the 10. 1st and goal, Aggies.
Unbelievable open field running on the speed sweep by Texas A&M that time. Malcolm Kennedy doing his best impersonation of Cameron Artis-Payne. That was phenomenal in the open field.
42-yard pickup. 1st and goal, Ags. To Carson, stretching to the 5. McKenzie on the stop.
I can't praise this offensive line enough for Texas A&M. Jarvis Harrison, who a week ago played left guard, got moved out to tackle. Garrett Grambling, who played right guard, is playing left guard. They moved Joseph Cheek up to that right guard position. And Cedric Ogbuehi, who was a left tackle a week ago, is the right tackle tonight, and they're doing their job.
Allen checks on 2nd and goal. Play clock winding down. Trey Williams just inside the 4. 3rd and goal, Texas A&M. Winding to 1.5 minutes left in the 3rd.
Carter, the 2 biggest situations in football are red zone situations and 3rd down. And on this next play, we've got both of those. Texas A&M, look at the trips to the left of the screen. They might try to run bubble screen here or clear out the box and rely on that offensive line once again. Man coverage up there.
Play action. Allen looks that way, brings it back. Tosses incomplete off the hands of Josh Reynolds. TJ Davis there in coverage on Reynolds to force 4th down.
Credit that Auburn Tiger defense for holding pretty decent protection up front. Good pocket, but he has nowhere to throw the football, so he extends the play. He tries to force it, and that ball should have been caught by Josh Reynolds. That should have been a touchdown. But credit Auburn for finding a way to win themselves in the red zone.
This one easier than the last one for Josh Lambo. Missed from 49. This a chip shot 22-yarder. (38-24) the new score. So Auburn holds the Aggies out of the end zone. But 38-24 now, Aggies on the Tigers. Kennedy's 42-yard run sets the Aggies up for 3 more on the board. Close closing in on the fourth quarter. Lambeau's field goal makes our new score. Texas A&M 38, Auburn 24. Over 6 million people are stalked each year in the United States. For those who live in fear, there's hope. Don't miss a new episode of the hit thriller Stalker, Wednesday 10/9 Central, only CBS. A 38-24 lead for Texas A&M on the nation's top-ranked one-loss team, the Auburn Tigers.
They got Texas A&M right where they want them. Down by 14, going to make for an exciting fourth quarter. Remember, this game started with Texas A&M being up 14-0. And then right away, Auburn, bam, bam, scored quickly and tied it up without any hesitation. Carter, I think this thing is long from being over.
That's what the Auburn fans are hoping for. 47 seconds left in the third. Trail by 18 at the break. Trail by 14 now.
And it's ironic, this Auburn team has had enough experience where they've learned how to win and hang in there. But this is a young A&M team that's going to learn a very important lesson tonight. Hopefully for them, it'll be one that they want to learn.
Grant takes a knee. Auburn gets it at the 25. We check with Jamie Erdahl.
Carter, it has been an absolute emotional roller coaster on this Auburn bench all throughout the first half, throughout injuries and giving up the lead. Now in that last drive, you had players. Quan Bray was standing on a bench trying to get the crowd into it, and then the third down conversions. They still seem disappointed that they converted on that field goal on that last drive, but we know this team. Coach Malzahn told us yesterday that this is the game last year against Texas A&M that they felt like this team came together and they know they can close out games.
Absolutely, Jamie. Malzahn said at College Station last year it all started there. The wins in tight games, the victory at Kyle Field 45-41 for Auburn. Back to Quan Bray, gets it to the 35.
And this is what Auburn will do. They'll stretch you out and make you defend the entire field and then come back and gas you up in the middle. That's where the big plays come from. And now that you see they're running a little bit quicker tempo here.
Marshall pulls it across the 45, slips his way into Aggie territory, rolling all the way to the 35. Nick Marshall.
I said it the series before that we needed to see more 14 legs, and he delivered that time. Some poor tackling by the Aggies on that last play.
30-yard pickup. Back to Cameron Artis-Payne. Takes it to the Aggie 31.
3 yards is a win for the Aggies. They got a win here on second down, though. That defensive line's been doing a good job of being stout.
So we head to the fourth quarter with the number 3 team in the nation trailing by 2 touchdowns at home. But Cameron Artis-Payne, Nick Marshall, and the Tigers driving. Can they punch it in to begin the fourth? We return to Auburn right after this word from your local station. Texas A&M led this game 14-0. The Auburn Tigers struck back quickly, but the Aggies 18-point edge at the break. And as we begin the fourth quarter, it is A&M once again up by 2 touchdowns. Carter Blackburn, Aaron Taylor, Jamie Erdahl from Jordan-Hare Stadium, Auburn, Alabama, where the Tigers have won 14 straight. Still to come tonight on CBS, Alabama, LSU. For now, Nick Marshall and the Auburn offense driving. 2nd and 6 from inside the A&M 33. Marshall, pump, deep shot, end zone, touchdown, Quan Bray. And now it's a 1-score game.
That's Victor Davis, number 28, just on a stutter and go. He's a true freshman, falls for it. And we talked about Nick Marshall's ability to throw the football. The one area of his game that improved the most from last year to this just made this a 1-score game. That ball was on the money.
Daniel Carlson's PAT, 7-point game.
Let's take a look at that touchdown again, Carter. It's one-on-one coverage up here at the top. That's Victor Davis in coverage. Just a simple stutter and go, and he bites on it. Eyes got a little bit big. He wasn't disciplined. And once again, Nick Marshall showing you the improvement in the offseason. Hits him perfectly in stride. Remember that ball he overthrew in the first quarter? That's a way to respond and make up for it.
Aaron, you said you buy in to the team of destiny, the confidence of going through so many wild situations. I mean, just to name a few: Georgia last year, Alabama the kick 6 last year, a week ago at Oxford, the wild play at the goal line, Auburn down 18 at the half against an Aggie team who hasn't won an SEC game since the end of September. And yet here they are, one touchdown game at the beginning of the fourth.
It starts with the belief, and the basis of the belief for this Auburn team is their work ethic. They have a book and a resume that shows them if they just consistently execute and do the things that they're coached to do, that good things will happen. Their playmakers need to step up, and on that last one, it was Nick Marshall and Quan Bray.
Carlson's kickoff. Speedy Noyle fields in the back of the end zone, decides to bring it out. The freshman across the 10. Speedy Noyle tries to reverse field. That cost him 10 yards. If he'd have taken a knee, touch back to the 25. Instead, Noyle dragged down at the 15. We send you back to New York. Adam Zucker for an update.
All right, Carter, Auburn not the only top 10 team trying to mount a comeback. In this Ford update, you see Notre Dame trying to flip the script on the Sun Devils. Matthias Farley with the interception. It would lead to a Ken McDaniel touchdown. Notre Dame was down 34-3. It's now 34-24 against number 9 Arizona State.
So both Notre Dame and Auburn trying to come back. Of course, Notre Dame's doing it on the road. Auburn's trying to do it at home.
Pass protection is so paramount. That offensive line for Texas A&M needs to take over and respond as well.
Allen to Trey Williams in the backfield. There's a flag down. Williams spins to the 19. Again, flag back at the line of scrimmage.
This would significantly back Texas A&M up if it's against the Aggies.
Shot block. Number 56, number 58 for the offense. Half the distance to the goal. Remains first down.
That's the combination high-low block.
Yeah, here it is right here. Combination high-low. You cannot cut a player when he's engaged with somebody else. The center, Mike Matthews, comes over to be able to help his guard. But on a 3-step drop where you cut block, you can't do it. That was a big penalty that backs up Texas A&M.
First down and 17.
A little bit tighter coverage from Auburn.
Allen inside gives, slipping through the Auburn D. Trey Williams takes it to near the 20. Therese makes the stop. Breathing room, and it's only second down.
We talked about that offensive line getting a hat on a hat and picking people up. Look at that, Carter. I could pick up a first down if I was running through holes that big. This is an offensive line that is completely rebuilt from a week ago, and that was a huge way to respond on first down.
Especially after the chop block. Another flag down. Allen, deep shot, may have been a free play. Tried the deep shot to Edward Pope.
Offside. Defense. 5-yard penalty. It remains second down.
Just foolish penalties again by this Auburn team. Those are coach killers. You see Gus Malzahn, he can't be happy with his unit, especially after that penalty they had on the chop block. It's now second and extremely short.
From first and 17 to second down and 1, Aggies move the chains. Boy, Auburn had them pinned back after the chop block, bringing pressure on the true freshman quarterback right with a student section behind him. And instead, an easy conversion on 2nd and 1 for the Aggies.
Foolish penalties cost you ball games, and you're right, Carter. This crowd was absolutely into it, but now because of the conversion, they're sitting back down and not making nearly as much noise. Texas A&M just needs to relax and continue to execute. And where's that pressure that we heard Auburn was going to bring? It just hasn't been here in the second half.
Ben Compton in at tight end. Brandon Williams on the toss. Williams gets 10. So the Aggies starting to go to the ground game, which is what they used last week against Louisiana Monroe. Started to use tight ends and didn't exactly look like the hurry-up, fast-paced Aggies a week ago.
A week ago, they only had 137 rush yards and averaged 3.3 yards per carry. It's quite a bit different story tonight. Texas A&M extremely successful running the football.
Trey Carson back in at tailback. Timeout Auburn. So the Tigers will try and regroup defensively prior to another 2nd down and 1.
First time out of the half.
Second time the Aggies have faced 2nd down and 1. Converted the last time. Still leaded by a touchdown on the Plains.
And now it's time for our Geico game recap.
The home of War Eagles, spirit in flight to get it started, but it was Kyle Allen in the Aggie offense that was off to the hot start. Malcolm Kennedy's 60-yard touchdown, and then Allen's 2nd touchdown pass. Josh Reynolds, 36, so the true freshman off to a red-hot start. This was at the end of the first half. The turning point, really. The blocked field goal when Auburn had a chance to cut it to single digits. DeShazer Everett takes it all the way back. Touchdown Aggies to make it an 18-point lead at the half. Auburn trying to fight back. Nick Marshall, 1-yard touchdown run. Marshall, deep shot. Quan Bray touchdown for the Auburn Tigers to make it a one-score game. 12:55 to go in the fourth quarter. Texas A&M 38, Auburn 31. This was Brandon Williams coming off the field after a 10-yard run, and he clearly wasn't happy with getting substituted in the running back rotation.
Well, he's been a factor, and when runners are hot, they don't want to come out of the ball game, but that's not his call to make. That's Kevin Sumlin's.
2nd and 1.
A&M winning on first down is a big, big part of this drive.
Trey Carson, the junior from Texarkana. Kevin Sumlin says is becoming a leader for this offense. Moves the chains. Still a lot of time, especially for a one-score game.
You'll notice, Carter, a little bit tighter coverage out on the outside edges. And now he's walking off. That can open up the inside of the defense for those quick hitters.
Allen to Kennedy on the outside, shaking his way from Jonathan Jones, who manages to hang on and make the stop. They're the Auburn 49.
Malcolm Kennedy, 6 foot, 205 pounds, and Jonathan Jones is 5'10", 182. And that time it was just raw, pure strength and open field running ability to pick up a tough 4 yards.
Kennedy nearing 120 receiving yards in this game, including the 60-yard touchdown.
Uncovered up here in the slot. Watch that overhang player just inside that hash.
Allen, play action to the slot. It's Reynolds who has another first down inside the Auburn 40.
We talked about that arm strength. This ball comes zinging out. Reynolds just sits in that hole, and that ball's on the outside. And because of the placement, Reynolds is able to grab it and make some yards after the catch that picks up the first down.
Reynolds now 78 yards, pair of touchdowns.
A lot of hands on the hips for this Auburn defense. If you're a Tiger, it's about the time where you need to step up and make a play.
Pressure up the middle. Carson right into the pressure. Gives us a chance to check with Adam in New York.
Well, Carter, this could be turning into Notre Dame's biggest comeback in a decade. They've scored 28 straight points now. Everett Golson to Amir Carlisle. Golson's got a career-high 423 yards, having the kind of game Jameis Winston had last week. They're only down 3 now at Arizona State. Back to you.
Looks like Notre Dame is a team of destiny, possibly, huh?
Is literally puffed out like a proud papa right now.
Peacocking up here.
So Notre Dame coming back against Arizona State. Auburn still trails by 3. That's a complete pass. Ricky Seals-Jones, the highly regarded redshirt freshman from Sealy, Texas, Eric Dickerson's hometown, west of Houston. Seals-Jones took a medical redshirt last year, 2 games injured. Played all over the field in high school and now starting to be an impact player for the Aggies.
There was some pressure from that backside. We asked where that pressure was from Auburn on this drive. As soon as they cross the 50, they've significantly dialed up the pressure. That could potentially put them in some man-to-man coverage situations. And that's going to be something that Texas A&M is going to have to be able to take advantage of. We haven't seen hardly at all Speedy Noyle. We talked about him in the opening lineups. He's a dynamic freshman, been very quiet tonight. Made a questionable decision to bring that football out, as you mentioned, Carter, on that last kickoff. But number 2, when they've needed to make plays the last couple weeks, has stepped up and made them for him.
Speedy Noyle doesn't have a catch. Bring out the chains to measure. It will be 3rd down. 3rd and 1. A very short one.
Third and 1 with this offensive line that's done a good job averaging almost 7 yards per carry tonight. They haven't run it much, but this is a situation when you're on the road, you have to be able to run the football. I say you feed the big guy, Trey Carson, your thumper, number 21, and pick this sucker up. They better be careful. 7 seconds left. They got to get the snap off.
Play action. Allen on the roll. Caught. There's Speedy Noyle inside the 20. His first catch of the day takes the Aggies inside the 15. Play action on 3rd and 1.
This is almost the similar play that we saw Nick Marshall make a week ago early on in the ball game. He throws that football with so much strength being outside the pocket. Speedy Noyle doing an excellent job of finding the hole in that zone defense for the big first down. His first catch was a huge one.
15-yard pickup takes Texas A&M into the red zone, brought to you by Verizon. Pressure up the middle again from Auburn. Williams right into that run blitz. Still gets 3. Jonathan Ford makes the stop.
Just look at Mike Matthews, the center. He's talking to his offensive lineman. It's so loud they can't hear. He's trying to change the play, pointing out the Mike linebacker. And watch this job that he does getting his team set. Just an excellent job. The one position that didn't change with all those line positions is proving to be the most important. Mike Matthews doing an excellent job of directing this offense up front.
Aggies have used up almost 6 minutes on the drive. Now can they punch it in? Play fake. Allen steps up in the pocket. Goes scrambling. Toss incomplete. Off the hands of Speedy Noyle. Jonathan Jones in coverage, 3rd down.
They brought some edge pressure that time off the play action. Right off that outside edge, the guard was late getting over there, the tight end, and he put it just too much mustard on it. Just high and outside for Speedy Noyle. Another big 3rd down in the red zone. The most important down in the critical situation is what we're about to see.
Auburn shows pressure. Option, toss, hauled in by Trey Williams. Nowhere near the first down. Gets to maybe the 9. A little bobble on the option, but Williams manages to secure it. 4th down, field goal unit coming out to make it a 2-score game again.
Yeah, they had some success early in the ball game, if you remember, on that naked pitch. This time they run it into the boundary, but to Auburn's credit, they were able to set that edge, and the pursuit was able to bring him down. Great stop that time on 3rd down by the Tigers.
Lambeau 27-yard attempt. Lambeau boots it through. We're back to a 2-score game. 41-31. The first across 40 is Texas A&M. 41-31. The Aggies were backed up. It's deep in their own territory. After a chop block penalty, it was Trey Williams shaking his way free to give the Aggies breathing room. And Josh Lambeau finishes it off. 7:54 to go in Auburn. Aggies lead it by 10. The Home Depot SEC on CBS is sponsored by Napa, Geico, Nissan, and by Chick-fil-A. Aubie's doing his best to get Jordan Hare fired up again, trailing by 10 against the Aggies. Now Red Lobster presents today's Scholar Athletes. For Texas A&M, Clay Honeycutt graduated with a degree in health already, 2-time member of the SEC Honor Roll. For Auburn, Patrick Young with a 3.61 GPA. He is a pre-med major and a Rhodes Scholar nominee. Red Lobster's commitment to the investment of our future is shown today by donating $1,000 to Texas A&M University and Auburn University's General Scholarship Fund. Aaron, we began the day talking about how 3rd-ranked Auburn is not shied away from the championship goals, SEC National Championship. They already have 1 loss. If they're not able to come back, that's loss number 2. Those goals are out the window.
There's no question these last almost 8 minutes of this 4th quarter are going to be huge, not only in this conference, but across the national landscape for the Auburn Tigers.
Grant takes a knee. They'll get it at the 25. We check with Adam in New York.
All right, Carter. Arizona State has answered the Irish. Taylor Kelly to Demario Richard. 5 plays, 75 yards. It's 41-31 Sun Devils with under 4 minutes to go, Aaron.
You taking the bait?
We're just doing that for the ratings to make it interesting. Don't count the Irish out.
Oh, maybe Auburn's thinking that as well.
Well, we certainly appreciate it.
7:54 to go. I mean, you've said time and again, Auburn is capable of quick scores. We saw 2 of them in the first quarter when they were down by 2 touchdowns.
And Texas A&M has to be careful that they don't get themselves too conservative here.
Marshall slipping away from pressure, slipping away from Everett. Knocked out of bounds by Myles Garrett, the freshman defensive end, but here's the flag.
And that might be a foolish penalty on Texas A&M for a personal foul for a late hit out of bounds. That's not the way you win ball games. You want to beat the champ, you got to knock the champ out. You certainly can't do stuff to help him.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
No question.
There's the true freshman, Myles Garrett. That time he uses his good hand, the one without the cast, to tack on another 15 to this potent Tiger offense.
Garrett, one of 10 freshmen who have played today for the Aggie defense, 9 of them true freshmen.
Texas A&M with 6 in the box. This is an advantageous number count, and here they walk the safety down to get some extra help against the inside run after the check.
Marshall pulls it, tosses it, incomplete pass to Quan Bray. So the package play resulting in the pass, but Marshall left it well short.
This is one of the hardest plays for defenses to defend. The run-pass option, you basically can't be right. It just wasn't a good throw or pitch, if you will, that time by Nick Marshall. but it was a forward throw, so it was an incomplete pass.
One of only 6 incompletions on the day for the senior quarterback.
He hasn't thrown it much. I would expect them to take a deep shot here shortly.
There's the play action. Marshall, there's the deep shot. Downfield, it is caught inside the 5. Sammy Coates makes the grab. The big play specialist for Auburn, Sammy Coates. 52-yard grab, negating the flag.
We talked about the arm strength and accuracy.
Pass interference. Number 29 of the defense. The penalty will be declined. First down.
Nick Marshall, credit that offensive line with a ton of time. He's high. That ball just drops into 2 defenders. A beautiful ball and great concentration that time by Sammy Coates. Remember, Coates is out there without the help of Duke Williams, who left the game earlier with the knee injury.
First and goal, Auburn. But first,
count them.
One way or another, the substitution infraction is the question, whether there's 12 men on the field for Texas A&M.
If you're the Aggies, you just can't let Auburn complete that last pass.
There is no flag. There's 11 men on defense.
Well, counted them. Matt Moore said count them. They got 11.
All right, here we are in the red zone. If you're Auburn, you like to run the football down here. They feed 44 first and then counter with the legs of Nick Marshall, 14.
First and goal. Marshall pulls it. Marshall, touchdown Auburn. Nick Marshall and the Tigers, a PAT away from making it a 3-point game with 6:42 to go. That's Auburn football. The deep shot to Coates. Marshall takes it in himself. Carlson's PAT makes it 41-38. 6 minutes, 42 seconds left. The deep shot we anticipated, a 52-yarder to Sammy Coates to set up first and goal for the Auburn Tigers. Nick Marshall takes it himself. Number 3 Auburn down 18 at the half. Only trails by 3. Sammy Coates has a very defined role in the Auburn offense. Make the big plays through the air. Last week, 5 receptions, 122 yards, including a 57-yard touchdown. He has 10 career touchdown catches of over 30 yards. Tonight, Sammy Coates has 1 catch. It goes for 52 yards from Nick Marshall to Sammy Coates to set up the field goal.
Playmakers make plays, and this is exactly what feeling like a team of destiny looks like. When they needed a play, they put the football in the hands of its quarterback, and Nick Marshall dropped a dime into the arms of Sammy Coates, who ran a great route and beat 2 defenders who should have easily knocked that ball down. What an amazing play. Remember, Sammy Coates was banged up all year. He was finally healthy, and it came just in time. This game ain't over, but he's a big part of why they're back in this thing.
Daniel Carlson's kickoff. Trey Williams brings it out. Williams across the 15, shoved out short of the 20-yard line. We send it back to Adam Zucker in New York.
All right, Carter, number 2, Florida State is underway. Jameis Winston lumbering through the Virginia defense down to the 2-yard line to set up a touchdown run. They have a 7-0 lead early on. And a couple minutes ago, Arizona State with their second pick 6 of the day. They are up 17 with just over 2 minutes left on the Irish. Guys?
Looks like the Irish come from behind bid will likely fail in the desert. Auburn's come from behind effort here on the Plains against Texas A&M. Remember, Auburn was down 18 at the half, down 2 touchdowns in the second half. Aggie football 6:37 and a 3-point game. Brandon Williams drilled as he gets to the 20. Jonathan Mincy, the senior corner from Decatur.
He's the vocal leader of this defense. Jonathan Mincy, the boundary quarterback. They put him in there. They expect him to be able to come up and run support. If he misses that tackle, it could have been off to the races. That was a tremendous play by 6.
Pressure, steps up, incomplete. Low, intended for Malcolm Kennedy. 3rd down. With all of Jordan Hare bearing down on the freshman quarterback, Kyle Allen.
And that time there was a ton of pressure, and Kyle Allen made a good decision. That was a very tight window that if he had thrown up high would have been intercepted. Here's a big 3rd down. Auburn's been showing pressure. What do they dial up here on 3rd?
Allen to the sideline, incomplete, intended for Josh Reynolds. 4th down. The Aggies will have to punt it back to Auburn with under 6 minutes to go, clinging to a 3-point lead.
The job of a defense, Carter, is to get yourself off the field. And that time, defensive coordinator Ellis Johnson's unit for the Tigers did a masterful job. That was just a blind back shoulder throw that wasn't on target. That time they weren't in sync. And the Aggies punting, as you mentioned, giving it back to an extremely potent and hot offense.
Quan Bray calls for the fair catch. Great punt from Kaiser. Quan Bray grabs it at the 20 after a 60-yard punt from Drew Kaiser. Auburn football down by 3, 5:40 to go. We promised you a good one on this Saturday in the SEC West. It's delivered here in Auburn, Alabama. Next up, we send you to Alabama at LSU, 8 Eastern on CBS. The Tide, the Tigers, the huge win at Tiger Stadium tonight.
Well, that's an interesting ball game. Both teams are physical. Both teams can run the football, but the one area that Alabama has a decided advantage is at the quarterback position. And I wonder if that's going to be the difference tonight in that game. We'll see here coming up. But before we get to that one, Carter, we got a pretty good one here ourselves, buddy, with Nick Marshall, the quarterback on the field for the Auburn Tigers, who's been hot in this 4th quarter.
Cameron Artis-Payne already over 200 yards today. Pushes to near the 28, so 8 more. 5:30 left on the clock in a 3-point game.
And there were some great blocks up front that time by the Auburn Tigers offensive line. We talked about Texas A&M's defense. They're starting to get tired. Those injuries are starting to take its toll. This is where the Tigers need to take over.
Marshall pulls it, 2nd and 2, easily has a 1st down, slipping to near the 45. Finally brought down by Donovan Wilson, strong safety. Right back up on his feet to get the play call for 1st down.
Texas A&M has 9 guys inside the box trying to stop the run. There was nobody out there on the perimeter, and Marshall ran easily.
Pulls it again, tripped up and dropped, and it's Donovan Wilson. That's back-to-back stops. Well, one of those true freshmen. He's from Shreveport, Louisiana. Makes the tackle for loss back near the 40.
That's exactly what it is you need. You look how hot this Auburn team is. They've strung some drives together, but they've also scored quickly. That was a huge stop on 1st down. Now A&M has to be able to force an incompletion or make something happen here again, getting pressure.
Play action. Marshall deep over the middle again. Caught again. This time it's Ricardo Lewis to the Aggie 20. yards. Marshall to Lewis.
Just got perfect inside coverage. One-on-one on the outside and a slant route and another precision thrown pass by Auburn.
Ruling on the field was a catch. The previous play is under further review.
He got underneath that. That's a catch. Big plays crush your defense after that huge play they had on first down. See, that ball's on his hands. To me, that looks like a catch, Carter. The football doesn't hit the ground and bounce back up into him. It looks like Lewis had control and demonstrated that control all the way throughout the catch. And I think it should stand.
Replay officials tell us all the time they're looking for a clear picture in order to overturn the call on the field. So if there's a clear picture of that ball on the ground without Lewis's hands underneath it, controlling into the body, maybe you overturn it. That one would be a tough one to overturn. And again, it's in the judgment of the replay official, James Allison.
Again, that was number 23, Armani Watts, another freshman. Had an interception at the start of the second quarter a week ago, but that time gave up inside leverage and a big catch.
After further review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. First down.
Ricardo Lewis's first catch of the game is the 8th Auburn play for 20+. A 39-yard grab for Lewis, who had the prayer at Jordan-Hare's 73-yard TD to beat Georgia last year. First and 10 from the Aggie 20.
Here comes the run game.
Artis Payne, couple more on the right side, running behind Avery Young. Myles Garrett there on the stop.
That doesn't surprise me. Now Auburn is going into their 4-minute offense mode. 2-minute, you try to score as quickly as you can. 4-minute, you keep trying to get chunk plays to burn the clock up to limit Texas A&M's opportunity to be able to respond if they get a touchdown here.
Winding to 3:30. Marshall, screen outside. That's Lewis again. Blockers on the edge. Lewis dives forward to the 6. First and goal, Auburn. 3:21 to go.
And you notice how far off the football Texas A&M is playing. They're afraid to give up big plays, and because of that, the safety's just so late getting over there that Lewis was able to easily pick up that first.
First and goal, Artis Payne. Pushing his way forward and pushing the pile, marking down right around the 2.
What they're doing upstairs is seeing how the in-man on the line of scrimmage is responding when they hand that football off inside. That time, Texas A&M had 2 defenders on the outside. My guess is they feed them inside again here.
Second and goal, Artis Payne. Fumble, loose ball, Auburn's on top. Artis Payne got back on top of the fumbled exchange between Marshall and the running back. And now we'll check. Artis Payne on top for a moment. Texas A&M football. Wow. Obioha recovers it with 2:37. The Aggies have a 3-point lead in the football at Auburn.
Huge mistake. Nick Marshall's reading the in-man the line of scrimmage. He sees it. He wants to keep it. Artis Payne thinks he has it. I think Marshall should have given that football to Artis Payne based on how Texas A&M was playing on the line of scrimmage. And a huge, costly turnover deep in the red zone for a team that played in the national championship a year ago.
Artis Payne at the bottom of that pile has the football initially. Now what the officials ruled is that Obioha controlled it. That when Artis Payne had it, he was not down. Right there. 95, Obioha.
It's a fumble recovered by Texas A&M. The previous play is under further review.
Back upstairs to James Allison. If Artis Payne is controlling it while he's on the ground, it's Auburn football. That's obvious. So if there's a knee down while Artis Payne controls it,
they know that this ball was on the ground. They're just trying to determine who was the first to jump on it. Almost right there. That last look we looked at there, Carter, could very much weigh this thing in Auburn's favor.
you know, the problem is, just as we discussed, when you kick it upstairs to replay, you're looking for a clear picture. You're saying at the bottom of this pile, is there any kind of clear picture? I mean, this may be one of those where the replay official says possibly, probably Auburn football, but the rule book says you have to be convinced beyond any doubt to overturn that call on the field.
And lots of stuff can happen. It looks like a Texas A&M player has that, so who's to say that the same thing didn't happen to the Auburn player? Boy, oh boy, I'll tell you, that replay booth's going to earn their money tonight.
So the bad exchange between Marshall and Artis Payne. Ball is loose on the field. No question that 44 Artis Payne gets on top of the football at some point, but he may not have controlled it. That's the ruling on the field. He didn't have it controlled on the ground, and Obioha took it away.
Either way, Carter, whatever ruling they come back with will have a significant impact on the national landscape of college football. This is a huge call. And an uncharacteristic mistake between the SEC's leading rusher and a dynamic playmaker, Nick Marshall.
Here's the call.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. First down.
Aggie football. Now the wording from Matt Moore there, the referee, that the ruling on the field stands, means that the replay official James Allison did not have that clear picture, the indisputable video evidence to overturn it. He didn't say confirmed. He said the play on the field stands. Texas A&M football, because that was the call on the field. 2:37. Aggies have it with a 3-point lead, but they're backed up near their own goal line. Allen out of the end zone. Brandon Williams. Maybe the 5.
Carter, we talked about Auburn being a team of destiny. We opened the show with that.
Auburn, that is their second timeout of the half. We have a 30-second timeout.
How ironic is it that we find ourselves in this situation? Can they have another miracle?
41-38 Texas A&M on number 3 Auburn. Before this game is done, the play of the game presented by Napa Auto Parts. Question for Auburn is, will they have the play of the game and another dramatic Tiger win? One timeout left for Auburn. 2:31. Allen handing off again. Trey Carson shoved back. Third down coming up.
Auburn taking another timeout.
Have to go back to 2012 versus Georgia. I mean, so much about that 2012 season has been forgotten when Auburn didn't win an SEC game. The streak actually started at the end of the year when they beat Alabama A&M. And then Gus Malzahn 13-0 at home in his tenure as Auburn's head coach. 14 straight wins overall. You go back to last week, I mean, the wild ending to Ole Miss, wild and really tragic ending for Laquan Treadwell. The terrible injury, but he fumbles. Auburn ends up taking it. Now this is the play at the 1 again. The ball is loose. It is ruled recovered by Texas A&M. Now there is still 2:26. Auburn doesn't have a timeout, But you get a stop here. There's plenty of opportunity for the Tigers to have another dramatic finish.
And this is an interesting play call. If you're Texas A&M, you can't afford to be too conservative here because you have to pick up this first down. But you also don't want to turn the football over. Auburn has been aggressive, bringing pressure on the true freshman on the road who's backed up to the student section. Let's see if they come after the young man here.
Allen toss in the end zone. Williams, did he get out? Yes, just barely. No safety. Trey Williams manages to just get it across the goal line before Frost and Adams bring him down.
They brought pressure off that outside edge, and just an outstanding job of Robinson Therese coming off that hedge on the outside, beating the block of the receiver for an almost safety. That's Malcolm Kennedy, who made the big play earlier, has done a great job of blocking. That's the way to step up and make a play if you're a defense.
Kaiser's last punt went for 60, but he will have very little breathing room. He'll be punting out of the back of his own end zone and punting to Auburn's Quan Bray, who has 2 punt returns for touchdowns this season.
The runner was tackled outside of the end zone. That play is under further review.
James Allison is playing a big role today. From a targeting overturned in the first half to the fumble near the goal line to see whether now Trey Williams gets out of the end zone, whether it's a safety. You treat that end zone, the plane, it's just like the touchdown. I mean, if you get it across, then it's out. Matters where the ball is.
Well, I tell you what, buddy. Malcolm Kennedy gets this block. It's an easy first down. But because of the aggressive play call and the physical nature of Robinson Therese fighting through that block, whether this is a safety or not, that was a heck of a play call and execution. And that's how you win yourselves ball games.
Yet again, you're in a position where looking for a clear picture, and that's a muddy picture.
Well, this is interesting because of how little room there's going to be able to punt this football away. That's on the 1-inch line. I would imagine Auburn, who had a field goal blocked on them, may want to try and come after it and get a block of their own. But they can't afford to rough the punter, so they've got to be careful there. But there's not a lot of room to work if you're Texas A&M.
That's if the call stands in replay right now. And it's the sole discretion of the replay official, James Allison, as to whether Williams got out. And just like the last one, I think you don't have clear enough picture to overturn it.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. The clock will start on the snap.
Auburn fans are going to be upset about both of those, but it's pretty clear that that replay official has to have a indisputable, without any doubt look in order to overturn it. Didn't do it either case. So now Drew Kaiser to punt. Quan Bray back to return.
It's the little things, the details. Texas A&M has to get off a clean snap. But the worst case scenario for Auburn coming out of this is that they have the football with 1.5 minutes at midfield.
Kaiser gets it away. Bray from the 49. Quan Bray driven back to the 44-yard line. 1 minute, 28 seconds, 3-point game. Auburn doesn't have a timeout. Daniel Carlson, the redshirt freshman, is long 46. We asked Gus Malzahn, how much confidence do you have in your freshman kicker who hadn't attempted a field goal the last 2 weeks? He said, my confidence level in Carlson is, quote, very high. Will he have a chance to tie it? And will Nick Marshall and the offense take care of business in dramatic fashion again? Lewis on the sweep. Turns the edge, gets inside the 35. So you're looking right now at about a 50-yard field goal attempt from Carlson. The 41-yarder was blocked, returned for a touchdown at the end of the first half.
And remember, Auburn burned all of its timeouts, so if they don't get a first down, that clock's going to keep ticking.
Marshall complete. Coach goes down right at the 28. As soon as he makes the grab for the first down, hits the deck. Clock stops to move the chains, minute 5.
I think Texas A&M needs to be aggressive here. They can't be too conservative and sit on their heels and play not to lose this game, because that's how you get yourself beat. I think they need to come after it. The ball got snapped though.
Loose ball. Did Auburn get on top? Aggie football. With 54 seconds left in Auburn, Texas A&M has a 41-38 lead. The football in Auburn is out of timeouts. Obioha again comes away with the football. Another discussion among the officials. Aggie football.
2 critical errors late in this ball game. Reese Dismukes, the unquestioned leader of that offensive line in the offense. Bad communication, snaps the ball when quarterback Nick Marshall was trying to check out of a play. And it appears that the Auburn Tigers may be out of miracles.
Alonzo Williams recovers the fumble.
Under further review.
And now we're back upstairs to the very busy replay booth.
They know this is, sorry, buddy. They know that this is a fumble. They're just trying to see who gets it. And clearly, to me, it looks like Texas A&M recovers that. And another mental error by this Auburn team.
This one may be the clearest of them all, as far as the replays that we have seen in the last couple of minutes. Williams. I mean, Marshall's on the ground because he's dejected after the fumble. It's Alonzo Williams, the junior nose guard, who recovers it.
Earlier this week, Alonzo Williams said that the chemistry in the team's locker room was not where it needed to be. We talked about this Auburn team who believed in itself.
After further review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. First down.
54 seconds. Texas A&M can take a knee at Jordan-Hare. 2 fumbles late cost Auburn. The exchange between Marshall and Artis Payne, and then the fumbled exchange between the center Dismukes and Marshall. And one of the stunning results of the year in the SEC and all of college football, Texas A&M, who had lost 3 straight. The last win for Texas A&M in the SEC was back on September 27th. They win a week ago against Louisiana Monroe in unconvincing fashion, 28-16. Then come on the road as huge underdogs against number 3 Auburn with a true freshman quarterback, with 10 freshmen playing on defense, and yet the team to snap the 14-game home winning streak for the Auburn Tigers, the Aggies of Texas A&M. Number 3 goes down, 41-38. In the last 4 snaps of the game for the Auburn Tigers, 2 turnovers. With Alabama LSU still to come tonight on CBS. Now it's time for the play of the game presented by Napa Auto Parts. It is the 2 fumbles at the end of the game. Down near the goal line with Auburn going in. A&M recovers. And then 3 plays later, Marshall and Dismukes, the early snap recovered by the Aggies. And here's your updated SEC West standings. Auburn taking its 2nd loss. Alabama LSU tonight. The Aggies get their first SEC win since September 27. Win number 7 of the year for the Aggies, and they head back to College Station, becoming the first team since 2012 to win here at Jordan-Hare Stadium against the Auburn Tigers. With the freshman leading the way. Aggies win it 41-38. In the middle of the Aggie celebration, here's Jamie Erdahl.
Coach, walk us through the emotion of those fumbles towards the end of the game and how you kept your sideline under control.
Well, I don't know if it was keeping anybody under control. Nobody knew what was going on. Everybody thought they had the ball. You know, our guys played hard, you know, and they got down to the end of the game, and we made a couple plays. They made some mistakes, and we capitalized on it.
Specifically, the group of true freshmen, how do you feel like they handled this against a number 3 ranked team in the nation? Well,
you know, you go on the road in this league, shoot, every game's hard. It's a good football team. Like I said, we played hard tonight. The young guys, you know, we ran out of people on defense, but they just kept playing, and hopefully we can learn from that.
Is Kyle Allen your guy moving forward after what you saw today?
Well, he's been the guy. So, you know, we made a decision a couple weeks ago, and I think he made some mistakes, but obviously he was poised. I said a week ago, he learned a lot more about himself a week ago, and we learned a lot more about him. We learned more tonight.
And what did the rest of your group feel like you learned tonight as you move forward the rest of this season after this upset?
Well, our level of play, our intensity level has picked up, our enthusiasm. You know, we still got a lot of football to play. You know, we got another tough team next week, the last couple of weeks, and we can really, you know, based on what happened in the middle of the season, for these guys to come out and play the way they did tonight, I couldn't be proud of this coaching staff and these kids.
All right, Coach, thank you.
All right, thank you.
For the 3rd time under Kevin Sumlin, the Aggies of Texas A&M go on the road and defeat a top 5 opponent. 41-38 the final. A&M over Auburn. For Aaron Taylor and Jamie Erdahl, this is Carter Blackburn saying so long from Auburn, Alabama. Final score, Texas A&M 41, Auburn 38. Still to come in prime time, number 5 Alabama against LSU. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports. We'll send you to New York. Adam Zucker with the Dodge post-game show right after this.